Live from Arroyo, Seco in Pasadena, California, it's Oaks Baseball on the Oaks Baseball Broadcasting Network. Happy Tuesday evening to everybody, all of our viewers watching tonight's matchup, no matter how you're watching or where you're watching. Jordan Brenner, Sean McKinnon, and myself, Jonathan Rifkin, are delighted that you are along with us for the ride tonight between the Conejo Oaks and the Arroyo Seco Saints. The last time these two teams met was last week. The Oaks won 17-1. Though so far, both these teams have dropped the next couple of games. The Oaks coming into today at 18-13 overall, 12-11 in the CCL. On the other side, the Arroyo Seco Saints are coming into today at 11-21, 9-19 in the CCL. We got a bit of a late start here, so we're going to go right into lineups. But throughout the first inning, Jordan Brenner and I will give you some analysis on what to look for in today's game. First for the visiting Conejo Oaks, under 11th year head coach Dave Solis. Batting first and playing right field from Ole Miss is Michael Spears. Behind him, Brandon Lewis playing third base from Irvine. Jordan McFarland's in the third spot from Arkansas. He's DHing in today's game. Chase Cockrell's cleaning up for the Oaks from Ole Miss, playing left field. Elijah Alexander behind him in the fifth spot. Out in center field from University of Texas, Rio Grande Valley. Sam Shakin occupies the sixth spot, playing shortstop from Valparaiso. In the seventh spot, Bart West at first base from USC. In the eighth spot and behind the dish, Zach Kamenko from UNLV. And to round out the Oaks order, batting ninth and playing second base, Will Pickett's from Cal State Bakersfield. Give you the field here after the first at-bat for the Arroyo Seco Saints. Michael Spears leading off here for the Oaks. The Oaks are in their baby blues today with white letters on the front, outlined by navy blue, and navy blue numbers on the back. The Saints are in their all-whites, very clean-looking uniforms with black numbers on the back, outlined by gold, and black letters on the front. The first pitch is a swing and a miss for strike one. First pitch time is 6:07, and temperature today is 86 degrees and sunny with wind blowing out to left field. On the mound is Reed Osborne from Howard College in Texas. On the season, a 3.78 ERA. He is 0-1. The 0-1 misses low, 1 ball and 1 strike here to Michael Spears. Spears has been heating up lately. The Ole Miss product has been leading off consistently for this team. His numbers have increased. Currently at a 225 stint. He leads the team in stolen bases with 11. Pitches in the dirt. 2 balls and a strike here to Spears. The Oaks are coming off of a Sunday win against the Orange County Riptide. They were up 11-1 in the the top of the ninth inning, and then gave up 6 runs to win 11-7. 2-1 misses low and away. And Spears has drawn himself a 3-1 count so far. Very patient. I think that's the biggest difference here, Jordan, as we bring you in. In Michael Spears in June versus Michael Spears in July is his patience in the right-handed batter's box.
He seems to have settled in, become more comfortable with the team, and that's what happens when you go from a big transition, college to summer ball.
3-1 pitch, a slap to right center field, and that one drops. Michael Spears leads things up here today with a single, and the Oaks have a runner on. Now the field for the Arroyo Seco Saints. Brennan McKenzie's in right, Jack Smith in center, and Dalton Ney in left. Marco Martinez at first, Gabe Chavez at second, Angel Armento at short, Colin Shepard at third, and behind the dish, Nick Lakaya. Brandon Lewis stepping in here.
And Jonathan, we should talk about the dimensions of this ballpark. I mean, we're talking about a stadium 374 down the left field line and 364, it seems, to dead center. The dimensions here are really off and heavily favor the left-handed batter.
First pitch, a swing and a miss to Lewis. Yeah, it's really interesting. Like you said, I was talking to Elijah Alexander, who actually played here back in his Ventura College days when they played Pasadena City College, who calls this field their home during the regular season. He said, I loved hitting here because right field was only 345, and I hit home runs right and left. Brandon Lewis during batting practice was incredible. He pops one, but back out of play. No balls and 2 strikes to the Irvine slugger.
I mean, it's a Jackie Robinson type of field. All that room in left field for Jackie to go out and run. That's what he was known for, plugging the gaps, running the bases, and playing hard. That's what this field embodies.
We are at Jackie Robinson Memorial Field here. To the left of us is the Rose Bowl. To the right of us is the Pasadena Children's Museum, the building over right field. Brandon Lewis hit a couple off of their walls during batting practice as well. He faces an 0-2. Here it comes. Runner goes. Pitches a curveball, misses low, and no throw allows Spears to steal his 12th base of the season. He's 12 for 13 now, and the Oaks have a runner in scoring position.
Michael Spears, a.k.a. the king of jumps. I mean, he has such a high level of knowledge of when the pitcher is going to release the baseball. He's got that internal clock, and he always seems to get fantastic jumps. So even though he's not the fastest guy on the team, he's definitely the most effective base stealer.
Lewis takes the 1-2 pitch low and away to even the count. And Lewis leads the CCL in batting average. He's batting .397. He actually leads in basically every offensive statistical category with 1 home run shy of Chase Illig's stat. He has 8 home runs. Illig has 9. Illig, of course, the number 1 prospect in the CCL. Lewis the number 3. Chase Cockrell the number 2. The Oaks have 3 prospects in the top 6, and all of them and more Oaks will be participating in the prospect game tomorrow. 2-2. Fastball outside. Full count here to Brandon Lewis. How about 2 straight Oak batters? Starting off with 0-1 counts, down in the count and working their way back. Really putting the pressure on, forcing Osborne to throw a lot of pitches.
Yeah, Brandon Lewis, so composed in the batter's box. That was a very, very tough pitch to take with 2 strikes, but he's so gathered in the box that it's easy for him.
Rips that 2-2 back. We'll do it again. Actually, excuse me, 3-2. Brandon Lewis last year had a home run in the first game the Oaks played against the Saints. In the second game, the Oaks lost here in Pasadena. And Brandon Lewis went 2 for 5 that day. It's actually a really interesting game. That was back on July 8th, 2017. Give you a little bit of Oaks history here in a moment. Lewis digs back in with a full count once again, Lewis. With Spears on second, he takes a healthy lead, very long. He gets a great jump. The 3-2 is high and deep to left field, though not out. Playable for Ney. He makes a dive and he makes a grab. What a play by Dalton Ney. Out in left field, and Spears has to retreat 90 feet back to second base.
Well, Jonathan, there's a lot to get to on that play. First off, how about that play in left field by Dalton Ney? An unbelievable jump on a relatively hard-hit ball for Brandon Lewis. He just saved a run. Let's also talk about what Michael Spears did. We were just talking about those jumps he's been getting on the base
path. Best jump
path.
of the season.
It wasn't even close. He was halfway to third base before the pitch was even delivered.
And that'll bring up the number 6 prospect in the CCL, Jordan McFarland. Batting .390 this season. He had a grand slam on Sunday. He was well overdue for one. And we were very happy to see him. He was actually a triple shy of the cycle. Spears on second, 1 away. Osborne checks Spears a couple of times and offers the first pitch, a strike on the outside corner. So last year on July 7th, these two teams played, and it was a very controversial ending. The Oaks were actually trailing for much of the game, and Milo Beam, who's from Purdue, was batting ninth in that game and had his first home run of the season. The Oaks actually went back-to-back with Milo Beam and Jason Oliver from Cal State Bakersfield. They made it a ball game as Osborne steps off to look back Spears to second base. The Oaks were up in the first inning, and then they trailed the rest of the game. In the 8th inning, they came back. They tied it 6-6. And then the 9th inning is when things really got out of hand. There were a couple of bad calls, and the Saints had Brian Smith from Occidental College coming in to score as a looper is in there for a strike to Jordan McFarland. No balls and 2 strikes to the Arkansas slugger. And it was really interesting. So there was a throw at the plate that got Brian Smith out. At least we thought. The umpire called him safe, and the game was over. But Solis was out there arguing for 15 minutes. 0-2 pitch. In the dirt, swing and a miss. McFarland gets tagged out. Great job behind the dish by Lacow to make sure that he can take first base. Out number 2 now. First strikeout of the game for Osborne. Runner on second.
That's some type of curveball from Osborne. You rarely make Jordan McFarland look like an amateur type of hitter. But right there, he certainly did. McFarland was completely fooled on the 0-2 pitch. Nowhere near that curveball in the dirt. He went lunging for it. He wasn't even close.
Going back to that story last year, Solis was out arguing for 15 minutes as Chase Cockrell, the DH in the SEC of the year. First pitch to him, a curveball at the knees for a strike. Beautiful first pitch there to Cockrell. But after Solis argued for about 15 minutes, the umpire said, we're either going to find the whole team or you leave. And the Oaks ended up leaving. On the bus ride back over to Thousand Oaks, I showed Solis the replay, and it was very obvious that Brian Smith was out by about 2 feet, and the Oaks should have won that game. 0-1 pitch is a hack and a miss for strike 2. Cockrell on the season, he's batting .366, second on the team in home runs. He has 20 RBIs, but far fewer at-bats than Brandon Lewis. 71 at-bats, but 85 plate appearances. Late start here, the latest of the season. On Friday will be up and slow. That'll be a 6 o'clock start. And a 6 o'clock start on Saturday in Santa Barbara. This team is beginning a very long week of baseball in the last full week of the summer collegiate season. Cockrell digs back in. The 0-2 offering is way outside, bounces in the dirt, gets away from Akayo, and Spears on the wild pitch will advance to third base. Finally gets to third base, but 2 outs later. Spears led off things with a single. Stole second without a throw. Was at third base, but Brandon Lewis got robbed of a base hit by a beautiful diving catch by Dalton Ney, and Spears, who was already at third base at that point, had to rush his way back to second to avoid the double play. The second-year man, and Ole Miss Rebel, digs back in here. The 1-2 from Osborne. Swing and a miss on the fastball, strike 3. That was dirty. 2 straight strikeouts and 3 consecutive outs to negate the leadoff hitter. And the Oaks strand a runner on third. No runs, a hit, no errors, and Spears left on base. No score here through the top of the first. We'll give you the Saints lineup in the Oaks field when we come back here on the Oaks Baseball Broadcasting Network. Back here for the bottom of the first inning. To my right, Jordan Brenner. Further to my right is our producer extraordinaire, Sean McKinnon. My name is Jonathan Rifkin, live from Jackie Robinson Memorial Field here in Pasadena, California. More than delighted to be with you on a wonderful Tuesday evening for some baseball. The temperature has dropped into the low 80s. There's a slight breeze. Very comfortable as we bring you the bottom of the first inning. The Saints order looks as follows. Jack Smith from Arizona State leads off. Behind him, Colin Shepard, playing third base from Miami, Ohio, is behind him. Nick Lacayo from Michigan State is in the third spot. John Thomas from USA will clean things up. From Cal Poly Pomona, in the fifth spot is Brendan McKenzie. Angelo, Armenta in the sixth spot behind him from San Diego State. Dalton Ney is in the seventh spot from Lee University in Texas. In the eighth spot is Marco Martinez from USC. And in the ninth spot is the speedy Cal State San Bernardino baseball player, Gabriel Chavez. On the mound for the Oaks is Aiden Dolan as the first pitch is a strike at the knees to Jack Smith. For Dolan on the season, he has 5 starts and 5 appearances, this being his 6th. He has a 2-0 record. As he kicks and fires the 0-1 here to Smith. Slapped over to third, but out of play, strike two. 2.55 ERA, which is stellar. A whip at 1.13. He does have 17 and 2/3 innings under his belt. That's good for fourth on the team. 20 strikeouts and only 8 walks. The Oxnard College product has been very good this season. He backs up his great play with an incredible flow. And you'll see it rocking right there on the mound. The 0-2. Broken bat, over to short, shaken, can't get to it though, as that one's a dribbler into left field. And that was a bloop single if I've ever saw one for Jack Smith. He leads things off with the single.
Yeah, just a sprinkle of rain off the bat right there. Just over the glove of Shaken.
Until the voice of Kid Cudi, Colin Shepard, steps in. Miami, Ohio, runner on first. Nobody out in a no-score ball game. The Oaks really need this game. They are half a game back of the slow Blues for the fourth and final spot. Since the Oaks beat the Blues 2 Wednesdays ago, the Blues have gone on a 7-game CCL winning streak. And now, as the last 2 years have shown, the Oaks and the Blues will be duking it out for that fourth and final playoff spot. But between the fifth spot and the second spot, a game and a half difference. That's how close it is. The lefty steps in. The first pitch misses low. Kamiko tried to place it. The umpire didn't have it, though. This home plate umpire is very familiar with the Oaks, and I think he understands some of their antics a little bit. Ball one here.
Everybody gets to know each other quite well when you're in the California Collegiate League. It's a small league, but certainly talented.
That one. Shallow center field. Alexander on the run makes the catch, doubling it off Smith. The throw comes in. I think it's in time. It is. Double play here. Elijah Alexander doubled off Jack Smith. And that's 2 quick outs here for Aiden Dolan.
Elijah Alexander is such a special player out in center field. Charges that ball. Makes sure to... He saw that Smith was... he was cheating a little bit too much off of first base. So he composed himself, made the correct route to the ball, and made sure that he got enough on that throw to get Smith out at first base. It was just a highly intelligent play.
Smith was the early jump. They yelled at him to get back, but put on the brakes quick enough, and Alexander with that gun out there in center field got him out for the double play. First pitch to Nick Okayo. This is low for ball one. Nick Okayo calls Michigan State his home. He's a returner for this team, and he's quite a bat, batting in the 3 spot. His number's a little bit down at 255. He does have a home run and 9 RBIs. Hits that one down third, but foul. 1 ball and 1 strike. Really lovely evening this turned out. When we arrived, it was up in the 90s, and as the day has progressed, the shadows have gotten longer here, and the lights will come on in about 30 or so minutes. The temperature has decreased to the low 80s, which is ideal for baseball. The 1-1 from Dolan, a curveball just missing inside for ball 2. Aiden Dolan's a native of Oak Park, California, about 10 miles north of Thousand Oaks. But he went to Chatsworth for college as he delivers the 2-1, or excuse me, for high school, my mistake. That one is slapped foul, 2-2. He was at Oxnard this past season. He has another year of eligibility there. But he has a lot of talent, and I expect him to get a great offer come this time next year. Great offers, have you? And how about this? John Vergara for the Oaks from Glendale City College has officially announced his commitment to UC Irvine. 2-2 upstairs, swung and missed, strike 3. Nick Okayo goes down on 5 beautiful pitches, and that's 1 strikeout for Dolan. No runs, a hit, no errors, and nobody left on base. We're through 1 full here from Jackie Robinson Memorial Field. We'll bring you the second inning after this on the Oaks Baseball Broadcasting Network.
From Rio Grande.
The UTRGV superstar, Elijah Alexander, leads things off here for the Oaks in the top of the second inning. Reed Osborne back on the mound for his second inning of work. I want to give a special shout-out to Aiden Dolan's mother for tuning in today. His father just came up to us and introduced himself. Lovely family. And Dolan, my mistake, was able to nab 3 outs with nothing doing on the Sentinels offense or Saints offensive end. The first pitch here from Osborne, skied to shallow left field. Running in on it is Ney. Shepard back, and Ney will make the catch for out number 1. 1 pitch, 1 away here. Alexander is retired.
Now batting the shortstop from Valparaiso, number 20.
Yeah, Elijah Alexander a little bit too eager there with that short porch in right field. Wanted to catch a heater out in front, and he was just a little bit late on that first pitch. But I expect a big game for Alexander with this short right field. He always thrives in ballparks like that.
And he's played here a couple of times when he was at Ventura County College, when they played Pasadena City College right here in the friendly confines of Jackie Robinson. Sam Shakin steps in. The first pitch is upstairs for ball 1. Jackie Robinson Memorial Field here at Brookside Park is a lovely little facility, and you know, the great thing about being in the CCL, in the California Collegiate League, is unlike most of the other summer collegiate leagues, like the Cape Cod League or the West Coast League, is the 1-0 here to Shakin, belts him on the inner, what is that, the inner rib, I guess, a rib on the left side?
Yeah, either way, it's
I'm
a
no
painful,
anatomy major.
It is a painful place to get hit, and Shakin's taking it like a real trooper right now, heading over to first base. Really taking one for the team right there.
Shakin shakes it off. Over to first base, 1 up, Art West. But as I was talking about, here in the CCL, unlike many of the other summer collegiate leagues, we get to play at some very historical places with amazing, intriguing stories to how these fields came to be. Of course, Recreation Park up in Healdsburg was built in 1918, and the stands were built in 1921, and they've been there since, and they've had players such as Joe and Dom DiMaggio play in those confines. Of course, on Friday, we'll be at Sinsheimer Stadium, a great history to the ballpark up in San Luis Obispo. We'll be at Pershing Park on Saturday and Sunday. Great history there. But as the first pitch to Bart West comes in, a strike on the knees. Beautiful first pitch strike from Osborne. But as far as histories go, I think Jackie Robinson Memorial Field has the most intriguing history of any CCL stadium, at least currently. Obviously, in the past, there's been a lot of CCL teams and a lot of very interesting stories. As Shakin, who takes half a step lead off of first base, doesn't really go anywhere as he just dives back onto the bag. Good check, though, from Osborne. The Oaks are notorious for hit and run, so he's trying to hold that as much as possible. But over to our left is the Rose Bowl, where UCLA plays their football games. The 0-1 misses outside to even the count here to Bart West. When Franklin D. Roosevelt was elected back in 1933, his Work Progress Administration implored the Pasadenians to work on an area in Pasadena to not only help the infrastructure of the city, but to also accommodate for a baseball team's spring training or spring camps. 1-1 pitch, called a strike on the outside corner, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Shakin faked a steal and went back to first. They improved Brookside Park for the Chicago White Sox and later for the St. Louis Cardinals. They used their spring training right here in this stadium back in the 30s and 40s. And then Jackie Robinson was a 4-sport athlete. What was known at the time as Pasadena Junior College is now City College, as Shakin goes back quickly on the pickoff attempt. Obviously, he led his teams to either conference or state titles in all 4 of the sports he participated in. Football, he still holds the Pasadena Junior College record that can never be broken for longest run from scrimmage with a 99-yard run for a touchdown. The 1-2 offering to West, called strike 3 at the knees on a beautiful looping curveball. Number 3 on the game here for Osborne, and that retires out number 2.
Now batting the catcher from UNLV, number 7, Zach Kamenko.
Jackie Robinson held records that weren't broken until 2001 for most touchdowns and most points in a season in football and in basketball, respectively. And track and field here at Pasadena Junior College at the time, he broke his own brother Mac Robinson's National Community College record for longest broad jump at 25 feet and 6.5 inches. That's pretty crazy. Zach Kamenko steps in from UNLV. 2 outs, 1 on, no score here, top of the second. And thereafter, Jackie Robinson was named to the Pasadena City College Court of Champions, which is enshrined at the Bust Garden on campus. He's also in the City College's the City College's football stadium is named after him and his brothers, called the Jackie and Mac Robinson Stadium. First pitch upstairs to Kamiko for ball one. But besides being a member of the National Baseball Hall of Fame in 1962, he was selected to the first ever Pasadena City College Sports Hall of Fame back in 1961. And of course, he was inducted into the National College Baseball Hall of Fame thereafter, after a strike at the knees on a beautiful place by Lacayo brings the count to 1-1. And of course, the California Community College Athletic Association Hall of Fame and the UCLA Athletic Association offered Jackie Robinson a spot in their respective Hall of Fames as well. The 1-1 outside ball two here to the UNLV Rebel, Zach Kamiko. But it wasn't until 2001 that they renamed Brookside Park Baseball Field to Jackie Robinson Memorial Field. Of course, they have to enshrine his name forever here in Pasadena, where he made his name and his city great and really broke so many barriers before even going to Major League Baseball. Talk about 4 sports back in the 60s, or the 50s, I should say. 2-1 pitch misses for ball 3, and it is just a phenomenal place with a phenomenal history. You walk up the steps, and it almost hits you in the face. Like you go into Wrigley Field or Fenway Park, and you can feel the history. You can feel the history here. Pasadena City College still plays their baseball games here, as well as Maranthana High School out in the area. And how fortunate are they? 3-1. Missing outside, ball 4, and a 5-pitch walk. Advances Zach Kamiko to first and extends the innings. 2 outs, 2 on. And Will Pickett, whose bat has been very hot lately, will step in.
Number 13, Will Pickett.
This is a defining moment in this baseball game, Jonathan. If the Oaks are able to push one across here, that would do a great deal of damage to this Saints team, and here's why. I mean, here's an inning. Osborne has been dominating the whole game. He gives away 2 at-bats. He walks Kamiko. He hits Shaken with a pitch. If the Oaks can just scrape across 1 run, even when Osborne's pitching a great game, that would be huge for their momentum.
First pitch to Pickett's upstairs for ball 1. Well, Pickett's is the most patient batter on the Oaks, if not in the CCL. You talk about a guy who manufactures base runners. His batting average has also been jumping a little bit. He's had a hit in almost every appearance in the last 2 weeks that he's stepped in here. 237 is where his mark stands, with an on-base percentage of .380. How about that? Takes a strike at the knees to even the count. Leads the team in sacrifice with 4. Has been hit 5 times. He has only 11 strikeouts and 11 walks. You're talking about a guy with over 80 plate appearances now, and he has the same amount of strikeouts and walks. That is efficiency at its best. Couple of bunts for base hits as well. 1-1 count here. Osborne looks at Shaken. Shaken dancing on the second baseline and offers a pitch in the dirt. Great underhand by Lacayo to stop it. Pickett's ahead 2-1. Thank you for everybody tuning in here on a Tuesday evening. I know it's late for those watching elsewhere out of California, or early for our former Oaks GM Vern Merrill watching from the sandy beaches of Hawaii. But no matter how you're watching or where you're watching, we appreciate you making us a part of your Tuesday evening plans. The 2-1. Skied, shallow right center field out of second base. Chavez towing the outfield grass, gets called off. And the catch is made, but almost mishandled by Brennan McKenzie for out number 3.
And 2 runners left on base.
No runs, no hits, no errors. Kamiko and Shaken stranded on base. 1.5 have come and gone here from Jackie Robinson Memorial Field. No score. Middle of the order for the Saints due up when we come back on the Oaks Baseball Broadcasting Network. The dangerous USC slugger, John Thomas, also a cleanup hitter in today's game. Leads things off here for the Saints here in the bottom of the second inning. No score. Welcome back, everybody. Oaks and the Saints duking it out for the fourth of 5 times. They play a conclusive Game 5 on Thursday, though the Oaks up in the series 2-1. This will be the only time that we're in Pasadena this season. John Thomas is second on the team in batting average, but he's had the most plate appearances. 341 is his stint. The first pitch to the lefty is a curveball in there for strike 1. Nice way to start him out for Aiden Dolan back on the mound. Dolan comes set, kicks and fires the 0-1. Cracked over to first, but just to the right of the bag for strike 2. Along with that 341 batting average, Thomas is second on the team with 10 RBIs. No home runs, but he does have 6 doubles, which is good for second on the team as well. Dolan towing the rubber, faces an 0-2 count, which is where he wants to be, delivers the 0-2. Comebacker goes up the middle, Pickett's mishandles it. And safe over at first is John Thomas. We'll see if they give him an error, though I expect
Right
otherwise, just because Pickett was out of position.
18, Brennan McKenzie.
They're going to call out an error on Will Pickett. That's his 3rd of the season, and John Thomas is on. And Brennan McKenzie will come in. Sorry, go ahead, Jordan.
I was just going to say that's a tough call to give Pickett an error on that play. That's a very challenging play that even some professionals would not make.
Step off of first for Thomas. Nobody away. Second consecutive time a leadoff runner has reached base for the Saints. McKenzie digs in the first pitch in the dirt. Gets away from Cam and Co. Going is Thomas. The throw bounces into the glove of Pickett, and Thomas is in there on the wild pitch.
And Jonathan, you could see firsthand right here, the last 2 minutes, what mental mistakes can do in a baseball game. Something as simple as an error turns into a runner in scoring position with less than 2 outs. That is a significant thing that you'll see in this ball game that could end up biting the Oaks right in the butt.
Whoever plays the smartest will win at the end. 1-0 pitch over to short, backhanded by Shaken. He bobbles it, but recovers it over to first in time. Sam Shaken, a master at cleaning up mistakes. That retires McKenzie for out number 1. Thomas stays put at first base or second base. You'll see Sam Shaken tomorrow, starting in the prospect game over there in his native position of short. Well deserved. Phenomenal middle infielder for this team. Angelo Armento will step in now, and again, mental mistakes are the biggest thing. Had there not been a wild pitch, John Thomas would have been over at first, and that could have been a 6-4-3 double play to put 2 outs up on the board, but the Saints, with a runner in scoring position, only have 1 out, and the powerful lefty stepping in. First pitch in there for strike 1.
Jonathan, I don't know about you, but being here at Jackie Robinson Memorial Field, it almost feels like we're at Dodger Stadium. It's got that Dodger Stadium shade and the.
It has the Chavez Ravine feel.
Yes, it does.
I completely agree.
And it's lovely.
Absolutely. I mean, the temperatures dropped into the high 70s. The 0-1 pitch misses low to even the count, but we're not too far. We're actually, if you go from Dodger Stadium to Angel Stadium, we're basically dead center. Last year, the Oaks had to make a trip to Angel Stadium, but prior to that, they were here in Pasadena playing the Saints before that game. But a lovely little area here in Arroyo Seco, South Pasadena.
And you also get that feel from the stands behind us. Hopefully we can get a shot of that later.
Dolan thinks about the 1-1, but steps off and looks Thomas back to second. No runs hit for the Oaks, no runs, and 1 hit for the Saints. The Oaks did not get a hit in the second, but they did get 2 runners on, Shaken and Kamenko. Shaken was hit by a pitch, and Kamenko walked. Only 2 swings of the bat for the Oaks in all of the second inning. 5 batters through. The 1-1, high and deep to right field on the curveball. Spears looking at it, but it goes over the wall. Angelo Armenta knocks over his second of the season, and the Saints take an early 2-0 lead here in the second inning.
Nothing you can do if you're Dolan right there. I mean, that's a pretty solid pitch, a curveball that drops at the knees on the inner half of the plate. The lefty, he just dropped his bat in time. He put a good swing on it, and not much you can do there. The one thing I'd be upset about if I'm Coach Solis is the error by Pickett's, giving them an extra run. From Solis' perspective, it should be 1-0 and not 2-0.
And prior to that bat, Armenta was batting 111.
Wow.
Really a confidence booster for him there. Dalton Ney takes a fastball in the inside corner for strike one. On the season for Ney, he's batting .213. His team batting .261 as a whole. Good for 7th in the CCL. The 0-1 offering upstairs. Ball one. Wind blowing over to left. Ever so slightly, though, about 6 to 8 mile-an-hour gusts. The sun begins to set. The lights will come on here in about 15 minutes. The 1-1 here from Dolan is in there for strike two. He really gave up the home run. He looks very composed out there. The base is clear. All you can do is really restart, and it seems like he's doing that. Oftentimes you'll see pitchers, especially young pitchers, get into the heads or their own heads after giving up something like that. The 1-2 is a curveball in the dirt, bounces, swung on and missed, and then the 2-3 put out gives us out number 2 here in the inning.
Jonathan, it's about how you finish. It's not about how you start. 2 runs is, for this Caneo offense, it's really nothing, especially with how they've been hitting the ball recently. I wouldn't be worried if I'm Aiden Dolan. All you got to do is, continue to work at bats, throw good pitches, and remain composed on the mound, and he'll have a really good shot at getting a W today.
Brings up the second USC product, and Marco Martinez batting .235. Pops one back, but out of play. No screens here at Arroyo Seco, the complete opposite of some of our other CCL stadiums here over the summer. Of course, La Mirada is like a bird aviary with how many nets they have. It's funny, that only nets they actually have here are in the outfield. There's nothing protecting the stands. 0-1 pitch misses low. 1-1, and we're in the splash zone, if you will, for short foul balls. If we get a short foul ball, there may be a disruption in the broadcast, but I guarantee you one of the three of us will make the out. 1-1 misses upstairs.
The only out I'll be making is getting out of the way.
You had some great plays, I'm sure, back in your baseball days, Jordan.
A few.
Dolan offers the 2-1. Another one missing upstairs, and he falls behind 3 balls and a strike. Thomas led off the inning, reaching on an error, advanced to second on a 6-3 putout. Or excuse me, advanced to second on a wild pitch, and then a 6-3 putout kept him at second, and then Armenta homered. And Ney struck out. That one's at the knees and brings the count full here. The full-time Dolan has had to deal with a full count this entire game. Trying to avoid his first walk and put out number 3 on the board. Toes the rubber and takes a sign. Rocks and fires the payoff pitch. A curveball missing upstairs for ball 4. And Martinez shows the patience and draws himself a walk.
From Cal State San Bernardino, number 1, Gabe Chavez.
And now it brings up the very dangerous Gabriel Chavez. He batted over .320 last year, but his average down to .182. He was getting comparisons to the likes of, insert a short Jose Ramirez, if you will, or why is his name?
Jose Altuve.
Thank you, Jose Altuve, the prime example. I don't know why that name was escaping me, but yes, exactly. He's very fast. He can play second base very well. Makes a very good contact with the ball. Takes a strike on the inside, though. Second year with the team, as I mentioned, batted over .320 last season, and he was very good against the Oaks, batted over .400 in batting average against the Oaks in the 4 games these two teams played. He was the one guy who really had every Oaks pitcher's numbers last season. Dolan, taking his time, offers the 1-2, sliced into right center field. Elijah Alexander glides over, makes the catch, out number 3. No, 2 runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left on base. The Saints take an early 2-0 lead. As the sun begins to fully set behind us, the field displays long shadows, and we're going to take a break. 2-0 to score. Top of the third after this on the Oaks Baseball Broadcasting Network.
Number 18, Michael Spears.
Back to the top of the order for the Oaks here in the top of the third inning. 2-0 the score. The Saints took an early lead on the two-run shot by Angelo Armenta back in the second inning. And that lead means everything right now. They lost 17-1 in the last matchup between these two teams, looking to make amends here. Michael Spears, the lone productive Oak on the day, has a hit. Strand on third, though, thereafter. First pitch upstairs from Osborne for ball one. Feel free to chat with us in the YouTube live chat or on Twitter at Caneo_Oaks. He's at Jordan Brenner 31. I'm at Johnny Riff. Osborne trying to work his ERA lower than a 3.7. Delivers the 1-0. High to left center field. Smith on the run. Short of the warning track makes the out. Number one up on the board now on an F8. Brings up Brandon Lewis. And we've really been on the National Day type stories lately. Of course, we started on Saturday for National Mac and Cheese Day, and on Sunday was National Pet Fire Safety Day. Today, though, it is World Emoji Day. As Brandon Lewis steps in, he's 0 for 1. In 2015, the Oxford Dictionary used the face with tears emoji as their word of the year on July 17th. The first pitch to Brandon Lewis misses for ball one. Since then, July 17th has been known as World Emoji Day. The World Emoji Awards are held on this day, and actually today they were held and fans had an opportunity to vote. That was back on CNBC where they had the award ceremonies. High flyer to deep left center field. Smith at the wall, and it is over. Brandon Lewis knocks around his 9th of the season, and he cracks that lead in half now. It's 2-1. The Saints still lead.
Jonathan, that's not an easy part of the yard to go deep to, and Brandon Lewis made it look very easy. That's some serious power from the youngster. And remember, he's still a college student. By the time he's in his prime in the major leagues, if he hits the ball that hard, well, it might not be in Pasadena any longer.
If there was a home run emoji, we would put it up for you on the YouTube live chat because that was oddly fitting. But wow, Brandon Lewis absolutely skying one out there to left center field, not uncharacteristically. First pitch, swung on a miss from Jordan McFarland for strike one. He's 0 for 1 with the strikeout. But today the awards were given out for the best emojis of the year. They had 3 different categories: best new emoji, most anticipated emoji, and emoji of the year. Best new emoji was won by the mind blown emoji. The 0-1 pitch misses low and away. I use that a lot because I'm not that knowledgeable. When someone gives me a new stat, I am mind blown. I send that emoji out. The most anticipated emoji is the lacrosse stick that Apple announced they will release very soon. And the emoji of the year was the thinking face emoji, also one I use very often because, again, sometimes I'm not incredibly smart, so I have to think over maybe a joke that somebody told that I didn't get. That pitch missing outside, 2-1. What's your favorite emoji, Jordan?
That's a tough one. I don't know. I like a good old smile.
2-1 upstairs, 3-1 to McFarland. You have a beautiful smile, so I'm sure that it's replicated at the emoji level.
Thank you.
Feel free to tweet us your favorite emoji. The Alexander family already gave us a hand clap. Obviously, that was for Elijah's great double play, but why not? Ball 4 outside, 5 pitches, and McFarland walks to follow up Lewis's home run. The second walk drawn on the game from Osborne.
Number 35,
I'm actually going to change my answer to the arm flexing. Because you can use that in so many situations.
To make you feel better about yourself, obviously.
You could do it to somebody, who knows, maybe their goldfish just died. They're down on themselves. It's all right. Stay strong. Give them that flexing arm emoji. Or, oh, I just got an A on my test. You can get a flexing arm emoji. Great job. Stay strong.
It's a 5-tool emoji. What can we say?
Yeah.
Runner on first, 1 around, 1 out. And Chase Cockrell digging in. He struck out his first time up. The first offering from Osborne, a big home run swing and a miss for strike 1. Here's some emoji stats for you here on World Emoji Day. Very interesting. 157 new emojis were approved back in early 2018, which brings the total to, get this, 2,823 emojis.
Wow.
Osborne towing the rubber. Offers the 1-1 way outside, but a great block by Lacayo. Puts ones across the board now. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 away in a 2-1 ball game and 1 on. And how about this? Today, Apple announced 157 new emojis that will arrive on major platforms in September when they announce the arrival of their new phone. They're talking about over 3,100 emojis.
Wow.
1 ball and a strike here. The offering. Runner goes. Pitches in the dirt. Past Lacayo. McFarland not paying attention. Probably could have taken third as well, but instead it will be ruled a stolen base because he left before the pitch was in the dirt. He gets his third of the season. The last stat I'll share with you here on World Emoji Day, and perhaps my favorite, and I think I knew this, and I think we all knew this, but we need to see it in writing. Only 7% of the people use the peach emoji as a fruit.
Sorry, I missed that. What did you just say?
Only 7% of people who use a peach emoji actually use it as a fruit.
Really? That is frighteningly low.
I think that we can all assume what that peach emoji is used for in other scenarios. Nonetheless, so that's the story about today's World Emoji Day. We're going to go back to baseball now in a 2-1 game. McFarland on second and Cockrell facing a 3-1 count. That pitch missed high. 3 strikeouts for Osborne. 2 in the first, 1 in the second. Has given up a home run to Brandon Lewis and walked McFarland. Only out with Spears to center. Cockrell takes a fastball, painting the outside corner to bring it full. Osborne towing the rubber. Takes a sign from Lacayo and rocks and fires the payoff pitch up to center field, though Smith doesn't have to move very far. Now he does, but the ball looks like it dropped. No, he made the diving catch. What a play. The Oaks weren't happy, and Solis is going to come out. I actually think that ball was down, and the second base umpire does too. Cockrell is staying over there at first. And no, they're sending Cockrell off. Solis is going to come out and argue. I also thought that ball dropped into the glove of Smith. It was a very athletic catch, and he actually mistimed it. He was in center field, took a step back, and then realized that ball was going to be shorter, and then eventually took the steps forward. But looking at the replay right now, we'll see. It's hard to tell. It could go either way, but the umpire and crew is going to have a conversation. Now, Solis is very good at getting the umpires together. Even if the result isn't what he wants, he at least invokes some doubt in their minds.
Right. Coach Solis, he doesn't like to, get too upset. Obviously, he has that gear to him, and he's willing to defend his players when it matters. But no need to get in the face of an umpire on a play like this. They're not going to change the call just for a screaming match. It's more likely they'll change the call if they, come together and talk about it. So I like that approach from Coach Solis right here.
Solis is like Switzerland. He knows how to make
Now
peace in the
batting
field, but nope,
19,
they're going to call
Elijah
Cockrell out
Alexander.
and have to fly out to center for out number 2 on a very athletic catch by Jack Smith.
Time for Elijah to explode. He's been seeing the ball much better the past week or two. We all know he's got that extra gear to him. And how big would it be to see Elijah Alexander explode as we head into the playoffs, Jonathan?
Batting average up at 330. He's amongst the top 10 in the CCL.
But I'm talking about that power gear.
Oh, absolutely. Watch him shift it right here. The first pitch, up and away, though, for ball 1. Flew out to left his first time up. And you talk about five-tool player, Elijah Alexander can do it all for you. He runs his routes better than anybody in the league out in the outfield. He has such a sweet bat. He can make contact, he can hit for power, and he can run. 1-0 pitch, a strike at the knees. That has been a tough call for the Oaks all game long. It evens count here for Reed Osborne.
He hit that big home run last game against the Riptide in the second game of the day on Sunday. But I think this guy has equal power to Brandon Lewis and Chase Cockrell. I think he's on that tier.
Grounds one over to second. Chavez covers it and over to first for out number 3. Just got on top of one, and that'll end the top of the third inning. 1 run, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 runner left on base. 2-1 the score. Brandon Lewis cut the lead in half on his solo shot, but we're through the top of the third. So the bottom we go here after the break on the Oaks Baseball Broadcasting Network.
Number 13.
Back to the
Jack
top of the order.
Smith.
Jack Smith from Arizona State digs in. He's 1 for 1 with a single. He's actually the son of the head baseball coach at Arizona State, but he plays football. Very interesting. He doesn't play. He plays baseball, but he's not on baseball or in baseball as much as he is in football. He was a wide receiver this past season with the Sun Devils.
He actually he's listed as a receiver, but he has more career passes than receptions.
1 fouls the first pitch. Maybe a multi-tool offensive threat for Arizona State.
Well, it makes sense. He plays baseball, so he's got to have a pretty good arm.
Absolutely. He's a center fielder at that, so
Yeah.
you look at someone like Elijah Alexander, we've seen him throw a football around, and that guy can toss, so I can only imagine what Jack Smith can do as well. Dolan back on the mound. There was a strike right past that bunt attempt by Smith. He's ahead in the count 0-2. And yeah, Tracy Smith, the head coach at ASU. His son Jack Smith playing here in the CCL, his first season doing so. As I mentioned, didn't play very much for his father out at ASU in the baseball side of things. His impact here, though, in the CCL. Cut fouls 1 in the dirt to keep the count at no balls and 2 strikes. Hope everybody's enjoying their Tuesday evening. This game flying by. Already almost an hour in through 2.5. But this is the beginning of a very long week for the Oaks as Dolan rocks and fires the 0-2. Slap to right center field and drops. Jack Smith repeats what he did in the first as he legs one out over to second and beats the throw. He outdoes what he did in the first inning, actually. Instead of a single,
Now
He beats
batting
it out
from
for a
Miami,
double,
Ohio,
and now he's
number
2 for
4,
2.
Colin Shepard.
What a heads-up play. It looked like Michael Spears out right was a little bit lackluster over to that ball, and the heads-up play by Smith picked up on it and legged out a double instead of keeping it out. Well, most players would have made it a single.
Yeah, that was a little bit nonchalant from Spears out in right field, but give the credit to Jack Smith. He was busting it out of the box.
Spears did mishandle it a little bit in right, but I think Smith would have gone to second regardless. Colin Shepard stepping in now. He flied out into a double play, shows bunt, pulls it back, pitches low for ball one. But the Oaks only have one home game in the next week. Tomorrow, of course, the team does have a day off, but the Oaks are very well represented in the prospect game tomorrow. That'll be on Fox Sports. Jordan and I will be there, though. And we'll have some live broadcasting type stuff for you on Periscope. We'll relay that information more towards the end of the ball game as Dolan offers the 2-1. Bunt gets down the first base line. Beautifully done, but Dolan fires it over to first to get the out. The sacrifice, though, works, and Smith advances to third. Dolan, though, showing the wheels. Almost did a front flip on the release of that ball.
I think the flip was out of nervousness because he almost threw that ball right past Bart West down the line, and that would have allowed a runner to score. Luckily, West was on top of it, and he was able to make a nice play at first to dig that one out of the ground.
After tomorrow's prospect game, the Oaks will be home for their lone home game of the season. That'll be of the week. 3 more home games after that on the season, though. So the first pitch from Dolan to Lacayo was grounded down the third base line, but fouled for strike one. That'll be against the Arroyo Seco Saints at 5 o'clock at Sparky Anderson Field. And then the long weekend begins on Friday. The team heads up to San Luis Obispo for a 6 o'clock start. They drive back down and head to Santa Barbara on Saturday for a 6 o'clock start. They drive back to Thousand Oaks and head back to Santa Barbara again on Sunday for a 2 o'clock start. We'll have all of those games, of course, for you live here on the Oaks Baseball Broadcasting Network. That one line to right center field. On the move is Spears, and he gives it to Alexander, who can't make the catch. Coming home and scoring is Smith, and over to second. Nick Lacayo with an RBI double. It's 3-1 here, third inning.
Now batting from USC,
I think that was Spears' ball to get, and I think he wanted Elijah Alexander to do something spectacular, but that ball was catchable by Michael Spears in my book.
I don't know if I agree with you, Jonathan. That was a very well-placed fly ball. Spears, it looked like at least from my vantage point, it looked like he got a pretty good jump. Alexander was all over that ball. He just couldn't lay out and make the web gem type of catch.
One around now in the inning, one on second base, and one out for John Thomas. Reached on an error his first time up last inning. He led off the second. What was it? Stranded at second. Thereafter, the first pitch upstairs, ball one.
And Jonathan, John Thomas is the only member of this Saints offense represented in the prospect game tomorrow. So we know he can bash.
And he's going to be facing an Oaks pitcher and Dylan Francis, assuming they play at the same time. The Oaks are on the opposite side as the Saints. The Oaks to share a dugout with the Foresters and the Barons. As Dolan checks the runner at second in Lacayo and looks him back and steps off for time. The Oaks then have a day off on Monday and will finish off the season back at home. Tuesday and Wednesday are interleague games against the SoCal Cubs and the Orange County Surf. Thursday is a day off. Friday is Healdsburg at home, and Saturday and Sunday are the playoffs. This is the last full week of play in CCL. Dolan once again checks Lacayo and offers the 1-1. Curveball, missing low. Kamiko really tried to place it, and the count is 2-0. 3 runs on 4 big hits now for the Saints. No errors on their side. The Oaks have 1 run on 2 hits and 1 error on their side. That error by way of Will Pickett's. 2 balls and no strikes. John Thomas from USC. His USC teammate Bart West playing at first base. Digs back in. The 2-0 misses low for ball 3. The Oaks need this game with the Blues finding a way to get back into the playoff conversation, winning 7 CCL games in a row. They do have an away game tonight. We'll keep you posted on that score. It started at 7 o'clock. Dolan checks back with Lacayo. Lacayo dancing on second, to 3-0. At the knees for a strike.
That pitch will tell you a lot about how Dolan's feeling right now. A 3-0 curveball to John Thomas. Dolan may be losing a little bit of feel with that fastball, resorting to the off-speed in a very hitter-friendly count.
Toes the rubber and takes the sign from Kamenko, checks the runner. Fears and fires. Nope, he steps off once again. It looks like he's paying a lot of attention to Lakai over there at second. That's the second time we've seen him step off and call time mid-stretch. And more often than not this season, when pitchers have done that, it hasn't resulted in a positive ending for them.
Yeah, you can't give third base, though, so I at least partially understand what Dolan is doing.
He throws the curveball outside on 3-1 for ball 4. That's a 5-pitch walk drawn by John Thomas. That puts runners on first and second with 1 out. And Brandon McKenzie, who's 0 for 1 with a ground out to short, stepping in.
And you can't blame Dolan too much for walking John Thomas there. For one, you don't allow Thomas to do damage, which we know he can do. And secondly, the Oaks now set up a double play, which could potentially end the inning.
Double play is a big deal here. The Oaks trying to limit the damage done. 2 runs, very doable for this team that has been hot as of late. They put up 11 on Sunday, 17 on Saturday. Kenzie digs back in. First pitch almost nails him on the left shoulder, though he turns out of the way for ball 1. And Kamenko goes to talk to him.
That's 3 straight curveballs from Aiden Dolan. I don't know why he's not throwing the heater, especially early in counts and when you're down 3-0, but maybe that's what Zach Kamenko is discussing with his pitcher. Dolan has to have confidence over that fastball because that fastball is what sets up that nasty curveball. If he can reestablish that fastball, there's a very good chance he gets out of this inning.
This is what this game means. So I actually misspoke. The game that the Slow Blues were originally supposed to have got canceled. So they're not playing anymore until Thursday against the Foresters. If the Oaks win tonight, they'll be tied for 4th place with the Blues. 1-0 from Dolan, popped up on the infield. Bart West veering at it. Pickett's also coming over to it, but West calls for it and makes the grab for out number 2.
And there's that fastball from Aiden Dolan. He threw it right by him. He got a late swing, and it's exactly what he had to do. Very good execution on the heater right there.
2 outs. Well, 2 on still. 2-run ball game. 2's the motif right now in the game. And as I mentioned, if the Oaks win tonight, they'll be tied with the Blues for that 4th spot. The Oaks actually have the tiebreaker. They're up 3-1 and only one more matchup between these two teams. That'll be on Friday. The Blues play the Foresters and the Oaks in their next 2 games, and then they're at Healdsburg. I would hardly say they have a very easy ending to their schedule, perhaps the hardest of any CCL team.
Yeah, the Oaks are the ones that started with the tough schedule, has let up a little bit early, or as of late.
That pitch grounded over into right field. Armenta over at first, coming around home. The throw is cut off, and scoring is Nick Lacayo. And how about this? Angelo Armenta, who came into today batting 111, has 3 RBIs, a single, and a home run. He's 2 for 2, and the Saints lead 4-1.
Armenta just found the hole right there. Pickett's was playing a little bit up the middle, and Bart West couldn't quite get there. That's a tough play if you're Aiden Dolan. I think he made a pretty good pitch there, and he'll tell you that. Sometimes the ball just doesn't roll in your favor.
Seventh batter in the lineup, Dalton Ney steps in. He struck out his first time up. Swings through that one for strike 1. I think the Oaks do have a rough last 3 CCL games, though. They play the Foresters, and the Packers in their final 3 league games.
At least they get the Packers at home, though. The Packers are a different animal when they're up north.
Yeah, with a left field fence of 250, they utilize it to their advantage. Changeup misses low. 1 ball and a strike here to the Lee University product.
There's no doubt that this is a crucial game against the Saints right here, because this is the one game remaining on the schedule where you look at it and you say the Oaks should win this game.
1-1, cut down the third baseline. Is it fair? No. Very hard hit. That was actually a very good pitch from Dolan. A fastball upstairs, normally getting batters to swing and miss. That was the pitch that Ney swung through the first pitch of at-bat. Ney got a handle on it. Luckily, though, for the Oaks, that was foul and no damage was done. 1 ball, 2 strikes here. Waiting on deck, Marco Martinez, 2 around in the inning, and runners at the corners. Oxnard College product, toes the rubber and comes set from the belt. The 1-2 in. Swung and missed. Took something off there and forced Ney back to the bench on a 5-pitch strikeout.
Of the 3rd inning,
3 now in the game for Dolan,
1 error
but
and 2 runners left on base.
2 big runs on 3 hits, no errors, and 2 stranded on base. We're through 3 big innings. The score 4-1. The Saints lead right here on the Oaks Baseball Broadcasting Network. Back here at Jackie Robinson Memorial Field, the Oaks trailing 4-1 with Sam Shakin stepping in. And for all things Conejo Oaks, play-by-play wise for the 4th, 5th, and 6th innings, my broadcasting partner, Jordan Brenner.
Fantastic job today, Jonathan. We look forward to hearing more play-by-play from you later in this ball game. Sam Shakin, the new hitter for Conejo. He's 0 for 0 today. He was hit by a pitch, but he shook it off, and he takes a first pitch heater upstairs, 1 ball, and no strikes. For Shakin, he's been one of the most consistent Conejo hitters, hovering around 270 the whole year. Now no different, as he fouls the next pitch back and out of play. The count is even at 1 ball and 1 strike. Wind has steadily died down a little bit. The temperatures have dropped. It is a pristine day for a game of baseball. A 1-1 toss, down in the dirt away on the off-speed pitch. Shakin lays off, and a hitter's count, 2-1. After Shakin will be Bart West, followed by Zach Kamenko and Will Picketts if the inning gets that far. Arroyo Seco has jumped out to a 4-1 lead so far. They've been hitting the ball quite hard off of Aiden Dolan. Shakin drills one down the right field line, pretty deep, but making the catch out in right field. McKenzie.
Number 26, Bart
that
West.
kept on carrying, even against the wind, Jonathan.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of very good right field plays in this season, and the wind was picking up to left field a little bit earlier in the game, has died down a bit, and I think with that wind, it would have made it a harder catch, but nonetheless, McKenzie knew what to do, tracked it down, and made the easy grab.
Bart West, the new hitter, struck out looking in the 2nd inning. Takes a heater upstairs, 1 ball, no strikes. Bart West, as we've talked about a lot on the broadcast this year, actually leads the Oaks in walks and strikeouts as he sees a fastball bounce in the dirt and roll all the way to the screen behind home plate. And he's ahead 2-0.
These kids, Jordan, who are acting as ball boys today are so gosh darn cute.
They're doing a great job.
If I didn't like the game of baseball, I'd come to these games just to watch the kids run out there.
2-0, West begins to go, and yes, he did swing, says the home plate umpire. 2 balls and 1 strike. I'll tell you what about Bart West. Here's a guy, he knows what he's doing, and he has very efficient practice. 2-1 pitch, hit hard, center field, way back to the track at the wall, and Bart West has hit his first home run of the season. Slightly right of dead center field, but a no-doubt shot over the wall. And the Oaks cut into the lead. It's now 4-2.
He was due, Jordan. I mean, this guy has been hitting so well as of late. He sees the ball well, he sees the field well, and with a 364 mark out to dead center, it's not very far out there. West has the power to go 400, obviously, but wow. Right off the bat, off the middle of the barrel, the sweet spot, West was able to line his feet up and display that power that he will bring to the USC Trojan for years to come.
And we've been waiting for that, Jonathan. All season long, we knew it was in the tank. Bart West is in great shape. He's a big guy. He just needed to crack through for his first one, and he just did. Kamiko swings through a heater. No balls and 1 strike. And going back to what I was saying about Bart West, his practice in the batter's box before games, he knows what he's doing. Kamiko takes a curveball down in the way. 1 ball, 1 strike. A lot of guys, especially at this age, they go out there and, they swing the bat and they hit a lot of balls. But Bart West has an idea. Where does he want to hit the ball? His practice is so efficient. Kamiko ahead in the count 2-1 after that fastball misses downstairs and a little bit away. Will Pickett's is on deck. 2 balls, 1 strike to the Oaks catcher. From the belt, the pitch. A fastball just outside. That was a very borderline call that went in the Oaks' favor, and I think they deserve it after the calls that have been made against them today. So Kamiko, 1 pitch away from a walk. Here's the pitch. High, and Kamiko does draw that walk. He's on first base, his 2nd walk of the afternoon.
I think the Oaks have realized that with Reed Osborne, you're going to get a lot of very quick pitches, but he's also a little bit erratic at times. He's throwing very fast, mind you, and he's a very good curveball, but he's missed with that curveball a couple times, and his fastball has been outside and high to a lot of these batters. You look at some of the swings and misses. Jordan McFarland struck out on a pitch in the dirt. Chase Cockrell struck out on a pitch that was high. The swings and misses by these players, or the bad swings, have been on bad pitches, so I think the game plan here is just wait it out. Take some pitches, and you're going to draw walks.
Yeah, that's a great point. That's now 3 walks for Osborne on the mound. He's also hit a batter. And it seems like the Oaks starting to see Osborne a little bit better this second time through the lineup. And we see that a lot with Caneo. They are a team that likes to swing the bats late in games, and a lot of times they're a little bit mundane, a little bit slow to start off games.
A very good 4th quarter team, if you will.
Will Pickett's is the new hitter. Here's the toss. Down and away. Pickett showed bunt, but pulled back in time. 1 ball. No strikes.
Saints corner infield has to be on their toes. Will Pickett's has already bunted safely twice this season and has 4 sacrifices as well. This guy knows how to bunt, and he bunts it very well.
Yeah, Colin Shepard at third base is really almost on the grass in the infield. Next pitch, a hard grounder to Shepard. He bobbles it. The throw over to second base in time. The relay over to first, not in time. Pickett's will be aboard on a fielder's choice. And if Shepard fields that ball cleanly over at third, that's a tailor-made 5-4-3 double play.
And you alluded to what he was doing. He was in on the grass. That ball was hit very hard right to him. And he just couldn't judge the spin of the ball because it was so quick, or he couldn't move to the spin of the ball as quickly as he wanted, and that resulted in him bobbling it. He was lucky to get the leadoff out, but the Oaks are lucky it didn't turn into a double play.
Michael Spears is 1 for 2 with a base hit, a stolen base. takes a first pitch in the dirt. Pickett's has to stay at bay over at first because it was a nice play by Lacio behind the plate. Lacayo, pardon me. Osborne peers in for his sign from his catcher and sends the 1-0 pitch. Pickett's on his way. He tries to steal second base, but he'll have to retreat back to first as Spears foul tips that one off of home plate to even the count at 1-1.
Might have been a hit and run call. I saw some signs over there at first base by Oaks bench coach, normal bench coach Joey Garcia out there at first base coach today, but that was a high fastball to swing at. Spears normally takes those, and because of the hit and run, he felt the need to swing and ended up fouling it off to put Pickett's back at first base, and that's good. You never won the end the inning on a caught stealing, so even if Pickett's would have been safe, high risk, high reward, you don't want to risk him getting caught, and it's probably a good thing that Spears ended up fouling it off.
Yeah, and when you have an outfield this large, this wide, it's always a good idea to hit and run because you never know what can happen. 1-1, but first, a check over for Pickett's at first base. He slides back in safely. The Oaks were treated to a lovely lunch over at the Torres residence, a beautiful home. And even us interns were treated to a lovely meal. We certainly do appreciate it. It was delicious.
I could go for some more of those enchiladas. Those were unbelievable. Wow.
They were out of this world. By the way,
diet.
Spears takes a curveball that stays high. 2 balls and a strike. I heard that, Jonathan. I hear you laughing over there.
I'm right next to you. Of course you do.
2 balls, a strike, another curveball. Pickett steals and is in safely as Lacayo bounces the throw. So now the Oaks have another runner in scoring position on Pickett's third bag of the season.
Great jump by Will Pickett. He doesn't have blinding speed, but again, a very smart runner. He got a good jump, slid under the tag, and is standing on second base. Spears is 1 ball away from walking. The Oaks trying to extend this inning any way they can.
3 balls, a strike. Here's the delivery. On its way, catches the corner, and the count is full.
And in a hitter's count of 3-1, more often than not, you're going to see a fastball. That was very well placed by Osborne, but typically, especially as a leadoff hitter with very good contact batting eye like Mr. Michael Spears over here, that bat needs to at least make an attempt to make contact.
3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Pickett's on second, will be running. Here's the pitch. In the dirt, Spears draws a walk, and Brandon Lewis, who homered his last time up, will have a chance to tie or take the lead.
You know what's funny about Brandon Lewis is during batting practice, and if you watch him, it is just a joy. I really urge you, with such few home games left, come out to the Oaks Baseball Park out Cal Lutheran, if you're in the area, of course, and just watch Brandon Lewis. He is just a phenom to watch. There's nothing like him. There's nobody like him in the CCL, perhaps all of Southern Collegiate play. But where I'm going with this is it looks like we're going to have a pitching change. Is that today during batting practice, he missed a couple the first time, and then he went back-to-back on home runs. So maybe he'll try to repeat that here today after going 1 for 2 so far with the home runs last inning.
Osborne's day is done. We're going to go to a quick break. The Oaks have put across a run already in the inning, and they have a chance to do more damage with runners on first and second base. The score is 4-2. We'll get you the new pitcher when we come back on the Oaks Baseball Broadcasting Network.
And now batting for the Oaks.
The new pitcher is Mark Tyndall from Trinity University. He replaces Reed Osborne, 3 2/3, 3 hits, 2 runs, 4 walks, 3 strikeouts. He also hit a batter. That was Sam Shaken, who suffered that hit by pitch. Brandon Lewis, a big moment in this ball game. The tying run is at first base. The go-ahead runner is Lewis at the plate. He takes a strike at the knees, no balls, and 1 strike.
Back in the 11-1 win by the Oaks. Check that, the 17-1 win by the Oaks. That was a lot of runs regardless. Mark Tyndall actually started one inning and 2/3.
Lewis hits one hard down the left field line, and it drops for a hit. It's all the way to the wall. Pickett's going to score. Spears hustling. He's going to score. Lewis on his way to third. He's at third with a triple. He ties the game. It's 4-4. Brandon Lewis does it all.
Well, what I was going to say was against Mark Tyndall, Brandon Lewis went 1 for 1 with a triple and 2 walks. He also scored twice. But I guess I didn't need to say anything because Brandon Lewis said, I know what I did against Tyndall, and I'm going to recreate it here today. How about that? A tie ball game. Brandon Lewis really does it all.
And what do you know, folks? Brandon Lewis on cycle watch again. Every time it seems we call an Oaks baseball game, Brandon Lewis is very close to a cycle. Jordan McFarland is the new hitter. Takes a pitch down and away. I didn't get you Mark Tyndall's line. Let me get that to you. Going into this game, he'd thrown 16 innings, and his ERA was 7.88. McFarland takes the 1-0 pitch in the dirt. Good block by Lacayo behind the plate to prevent Lewis from scoring on the pass ball.
And those 2 runs are earned to Reed Osborne, so he ends the day with 4 earned runs. And you never want to have a pitching change with runners on with Brandon Lewis because your ERA is going to jump after that.
McFarland hits one hard, takes a hop over the second baseman's head. Lewis will score. Chavez at second base had no chance. Talk about an unlucky hop for the Arroyo Seco Saints. Wow, the Oaks take the lead 5-4. They've put across 4 runs here in the 4th inning.
That was the worst hop I have ever seen in my entire life. You're talking about a ground ball that on one hop caught that very slim part where the infield grass and the infield dirt meet. And Chavez lined that one up. And, I mean, he's only 5'6", so that one went about a foot over his head.
The new hitter, Chase Cockrell. Cockrell takes a heater just a bit away. 1 ball and no strikes. So here's a recap of the inning. Remember, Bart West hit that big home run, his first of the season, to start off the scoring. Spears and Pickett's were on. Lewis brought them around on a triple. And then McFarland just drove in Lewis on a base hit to right. Cockrell takes a ball away. 2 balls and no strikes.
Cockrell, the only big Oak so far to not get on base.
And how about this? Chase Cockrell is not leading the Oaks in any offensive category any longer. Brandon Lewis has exploded in front of him. Cockrell swings on a high fastball, lifted into foul territory
right behind us.
And it almost hits us in the head. I was looking for it. That was about 1 foot away from taking your life, Jonathan. How do you feel?
I have a new appreciation. No, I mean, we knew that we were out of the way. Had we had to, we would have. But, no, I think that ball was just about to miss me. I think we gave a heart attack to some of the fans behind us, though. They were not happy that we didn't even flinch on that one.
I was about to use you as a human shield.
I would have let you.
2-1, the pitch. Down and away. Cockrell takes a slider. 3 balls, 1 strike.
I think Chase was mad at you that you said that he wasn't leading the team in any stat offensively. So he took his anger out by popping that one back right at us.
Well, it's only a matter of time before he takes the lead in something because he is just too talented.
But to bat 366 and to not lead your team, are you kidding me? That's how good this offense has been.
He's not even in second place.
McFarland's
hitting
right?
390.
Oh, my goodness.
3-1 pitch. Cockrell hits a ground ball over to third baseman Shepard. Overhand over to first base on the reach. Martinez makes the play to retire the side. But a big inning indeed for the Conejo Oaks. 4 runs, 3 hits. No errors, a runner left aboard. Caneo all of a sudden on top, 5-4. We're on to the bottom of the fourth inning. Don't go anywhere. You're listening and watching to Oaks Baseball on the Oaks Baseball Broadcasting Network. We're back in for the bottom of the fourth inning. Leading off for the Arroyo Seco Saints, Marco Martinez, the USC Trojan. He's 0 for 0 with a walk. There was actually an error added on the Oaks field on the Nick Lacayo double to center field. For those keeping score at home, Dolan's still on the hill. A changeup low, 1 ball and no strikes. And that changeup, well, that's what helped him get out of the third inning when the Saints were threatening with 2 runners aboard. Dolan struck out Ney with the changeup. A hard ground ball over to Shaken. No problem over to Bart West for the first out of the frame. 6-3 on the putout.
And that's some big news for Dodger fans if you're too busy watching the Oaks to check. We were talking about how this has a very Dodger Stadium aura to it. Ken Rosenthal just confirmed that Manny Machado has indeed gone to the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Wow.
How about that? That is a big move into the National League for a team that's contending right now for a spot in the postseason.
Indeed. Gabe Chavez, the new hitter. So for 1 with a flyout. Dolan. A fastball that sails above the head of Kamenko. Way high, 1 ball and no strikes. And what immediately comes to mind when you talk about that Manny Machado acquisition, if the Dodgers re-sign him, where's he going to play? Want to know, is in the dirt, 2 balls and no strikes. And I say that, Corey Seager, he's hurt this year, but he'll be back next year. He's the shortstop if you're the Dodgers, and Machado has been very adamant that he also wants to play shortstop. 2-0, hit hard, down the line, but foul.
With
2 balls and a strike. Sorry,
with that
Tom.
being said, no, absolutely. With that being said, I think he wants, at the end of the day, you play for a team that you fit in well and that you are going to win on. So I think he will sacrifice the need, the want to play at shortstop because Corey Seager, in terms of a shortstop, is a much better shortstop than Manny
I don't know
Machado
about Machado is one of the best in the game, too. 2-1 is low, 3 balls and a strike.
With that being said, I do believe that Machado is a much better offensive threat and a better fielder than Justin Turner, and Justin Turner obviously getting old, so I think he would be content playing at third base for most of the time being.
A dribbler over to Shaken at short. He fields sidearm in time to Bart West. Gomez was hustling, but 2 straight 6-3 ground outs. 2 outs here in the bottom of the fourth inning. The final hope, Jack Smith. He's had a big, big day so far. 2 for 2, a base hit, a double in the first inning after he led off the game, or led off the Saints' offensive appearance with a base hit. He was actually nabbed on a beautiful play by Elijah Alexander in center field on that lovely double play. Anyway, it's his third at-bat now. The Arizona State Sun Devil, Dolan, he settled down, a curveball on the inside corner and at the knees, a picturesque curveball, and he's ahead 0-1.
Ooh, that inside curveball has been working for Dolan most part of this game, and has a lot of these Saints batters off balance.
0-1 turns to 1-1. A changeup spiked in the dirt. 1 ball and 1 strike. Jack Smith, 306 hitter. 2 doubles on the season, no home runs quite yet. He's also added 4 RBIs. 1-1, another changeup spiked in the dirt. And the count is 2-1. So Dolan struggled in the second and third innings, giving up 2 runs apiece in each of those frames. But he settled down, and that's what it boils down to. We knew this Oaks offense was going to come on strong. He sends the 2-1, jam shot, but drops in foul territory near the dugout for the Conejo Oaks. Kamenko and West started to run towards that ball, but they had no chance to get there. And the count is even at 2-2. 4 runs on 5 hits for the Saints. 5 runs, 5 hits. An error. Actually, 2 errors for the Conejo Oaks. The 2-2 pitch, curveball over to Shaken again. 6-3, 6-3, 6-3. 3 straight groundouts to Shaken. And the Saints go in order. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left aboard. Oaks on top 5-4 through 4 full innings. We're on to the 5th. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Oaks Baseball on the Oaks Baseball Broadcasting Network. Elijah Alexander set to lead off the 5th inning for the Conejo Oaks. Jonathan, earlier in this game, you talked a lot about Jackie Robinson and his historical relevance here in the Pasadena area, and really how great a historical figure he was. Well, I'm going to talk about a little bit of other history in the Pasadena area, and it has to do with Walter O'Malley, the old owner of the Los Angeles Dodgers, who had a great connection to Jackie Robinson, was an integral part of having Jackie in as the first African-American player in the big leagues. Elijah Alexander lays down a beautiful bunt. No chance for Shepard at third to throw him out. And Elijah Alexander shows off the wheels, and he's on base for his first hit of the ball game. A gorgeous bunt down the third base line.
That was Jackie Robinson-esque. Laid it down beautifully and showed off the wheels. You talk about the guy who was clocked as the fastest man in the CCL from home to first by baseball census. He lives up to that expectation right there.
So runner on first for Sam Shaken. Shaken on the day, 0 for 1 with a hit by pitch. Takes a fastball low, 1 ball and no strikes. So Walter O'Malley, the former owner of the Dodgers, was responsible for moving the Brooklyn Dodgers to Los Angeles after he couldn't find a replacement for Ebbets Field, which was falling apart in the Brooklyn area. He decided to pack up the team and move it to Southern California. But one of the major obstacles he faced was finding a stadium for the Dodgers to play in while Dodger Stadium was being built. 1-0 in there, and the count is even at 1-1 strike. And Walter O'Malley, he was looking at a few places, and actually one of those places was the Rose Bowl, which is only a few blocks away from Jackie Robinson Memorial Field.
They share a parking lot.
Yeah. A throw over to first, and Alexander back in safely. Tyndall on the mound, making sure to keep Alexander close because everybody in the stadium by now knows that Elijah Alexander can really get after it on the base path. Here's the 1-1 delivery to Shaken. A swing, a ground ball over to the shortstop. He takes it himself. 6-2-3 on the double play. And a quick 2 outs for the Arroyo Seco Saints.
I want you to get back to your story because it's really interesting. But first, talk about right place, right time. That ball hopped right off the top of the mound. It could have taken a bad hop, or Armenta could have misjudged where that ball would have landed. But instead, on the bad hop, he was right where that ball was going to land. What a great play. And wow.
Bart
Beautiful
West.
double play. Sorry, go ahead.
Of course, Jonathan. That was great analysis. West takes a first pitch curveball at the knees, 0-1. Bart today hit his first home run of the season, a towering shot to center field. He also struck out looking in the second inning. Takes a curveball in the dirt. Count even at 1-1 strike. So as I was saying, the Rose Bowl in Pasadena was actually the first stadium O'Malley looked at. And it was attractive. There were 100,000 seats available. But first, a ground ball through the middle, past the glove of Armenta at short. Bart West, 2 for 3, having perhaps his best game of the season at the plate.
Now batting number 7, Zach Kamenko.
So Zach Kamenko comes to the plate for his third plate appearance. But he's 0 for 0 with 2 walks. But ultimately, the Rose Bowl was passed on, and here's why. The Major League Baseball commissioner said that if the Dodgers were to move to Pasadena, that would open up a spot for an American League team to move to Los Angeles. And the Dodgers, they wanted control over the market. Kamenko takes a fastball up and in. 1-0 to Kamenko. So after the Dodgers passed on the Rose Bowl, they were actually looking at Wrigley Field as that ball gets away from the first baseman on the throw over, and that's going to be ruled out of play. And Bart West will be awarded 1 base. He reaches second on the error. So the Dodgers looked at Wrigley Field. And no, not the Wrigley Field in Chicago that has grown to be one of the most spectacular baseball venues in the world. There was actually another Wrigley Field in Los Angeles. And that Wrigley Field was a minor league stadium. It hosted the minor league Angels. But that capacity in Wrigley Field was too small. It was essentially the same as Ebbets Field in Brooklyn. Kamenko swings and he foul tips one behind the plate, and the umpire getting nicked. He's got a lot of personality behind the plate, and I love that. And a home plate umpire.
You talk about some of our favorite umpiring crews, not by calls, balls, and strikes and whatnot, but just by sheer emotion and hilarity. I mean, he comes and interacts with us during inning breaks. He is such a hilarious guy with a lot of knowledge right there, though, that's shaken up on that foul ball.
Stokes threatening to score another run. Bart West is now on second base. It's a 1-1 count.
And you know what's funny about your story about the Dodgers almost choosing the Rose Bowl, which is over our left field fence, or Wrigley Field out here, is actually William Wrigley, when they were looking for a place for the Cubs to come practice spring training, actually used this field Brookside for about a year until he purchased Catalina Island and took the Cubs out there.
Wow. A 1-1 pitch settles just a bit inside. The count is 2-1.
There is just so much rich baseball history in this era. I mean, we could go into football history. We don't have time with how UCLA has been here for years, but wow, what a lovely cultural place to be in if you love the game of baseball.
2 balls, 1 strike. Tyndall flips the pitch. Here it is. Another curveball, this time in for a strike, count even at 2. So the Dodgers passed on Wrigley Field. The Rose Bowl didn't work out. They eventually settled in at the Coliseum, where they played 4 seasons before Dodger Stadium opened at Chavez Ravine. And the Coliseum was notorious for that 250-foot left field line.
Reminds you of Healdsburg.
2-2 ground ball over to the third baseman. Shepard backs up, fires over to first, and it gets by the first baseman, Martinez. West around third, he'll score. And the Oaks extend their lead 6-4. Kamenko able to go over to second base on the error by Colin Shepard.
Unearned run right there, so Tyndall can sit comfortable with that, but I don't think he cares because the Oaks are all about putting up big runs in the middle of ball games when they need to, and in a big game for this team, every run matters. This is an insurance run opportunity for them, and Kamenko, he did what he needed to do. It may have not been pretty, but a deep ball down to third base, Shepard just didn't have enough arm strength on the hop to be able to get it over to first. Martinez couldn't corral it in the dirt, and you know what? This team will take runs however they come across.
Will Pickett's is 0 for 2. He flew out to right field, also grounded into a fielder's choice. An RBI chance here for Will. Shows bunt, popped behind us and out of play. No balls and 1 strike.
This would be a great area to bring your dog because with all the foul balls going behind us and without netting, those dogs could really chase him down.
No balls, a strike to Pickett's. And one last thing on the Dodgers Rose Bowl connection. Just to show you how close the Dodgers were to moving the Rose Bowl, there was actually a newspaper article as Pickett swings through 0-1 to turn it to 0-2. There's a newspaper article written on December 12th, 1957 by the Spokane Daily Chronicle that the Dodgers were close to a deal to play in the Rose Bowl. Eventually in 1958, though, they did play at the Coliseum. No balls, 2 strikes. Kamenko on second base. Here's the hurl, a curveball. Did he go? The peel over to first? No, he did not. Pickett's holds up, and the count is 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Hard to hold back right there. That curveball has been very effective for Tyndall, but Pickett's picked up on the late break, realized it would drop low in the zone, and held back before crossing the plane.
The Oaks have brought around a run on a hit with 2 errors so far here in the top of the 5th inning. They've exploded for all 6 runs. As the 1-2 pitch is fouled back to the screen. Well, actually, they've only exploded for 5 runs the past 2 frames, 6 runs the past 3 frames. They sit on top, 6-4, and it was a bad start for Caneo, but the bats have warmed up, and they have a comfortable lead right now, trying to extend it. The 1-2 pitch, Pickett's awaits, on its way in the dirt, gets by the catcher Lacayo, and over to third goes Zach Kamenko. The Oaks 90 feet away for making this game 7-4. The count is even at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
You been to the Rose Bowl, Jordan?
Oh, yeah.
Lovely stadium.
Oh, yeah. Hopefully I'll be there next year for the Rose Bowl with Oregon in it. 2-2, a bit low, and the count is full.
We could argue about this for the next millennium, but I am not on that bandwagon with you. I do not think that Oregon will represent the Pac-12 in the Rose Bowl game this year.
Well, hope's an important thing for a fan to have, right, Jonathan?
Apparently.
Here's the full count pitch outside. What an at-bat from Will Pickett to draw a walk. He fought the whole way through, and now runners at the corners for Michael Spears.
How about a Blackhawk helicopter going right over us? That's a new one. There's an Army base about 20 minutes southeast of here, so it makes sense, but late on a Tuesday evening. Pretty uncharacteristic for the area.
I can barely hear myself think with that thing flying over.
I want to go over Pickett's at-bat here if we have time after a couple of pitches here to Spears because it was just so great.
Spears swings at the first pitch, lifted in foul territory into the seats. Watch out, folks. Wow, just about a foot away from taking a spectator's head off.
This is a place where you bring your baseball glove and pray for a foul ball. But going back to Pickett's at-bat, sorry, Jordan, he was down 0-2. He checked his swing on an 0-2 fastball. Got the call that he didn't go around 1-2, and he took some very tough pitches.
0-1 turns to 0-2, a fastball in at the knees.
And then he fouled off a fastball, which wasn't a great hit, but he made contact. He adjusted his swing and was able to find the barrel to the bottom of the ball and knock it backward. And then he took a walk. You talk about a great at-bat, a fundamentally great at-bat. Well, Pickett's more often than not, at least recently, is able to do that.
The ball gets away from the first baseman. What a heads-up play from Kamiko. As the throw was over to first base, the first baseman, Martinez, bobbled it. Kamiko was all over it, takes advantage, and hustles home to give the Oaks a 7-4 lead. That's going to be, is that the third error of the inning, Jonathan?
That is the third error of the inning, the second for Tyndall.
Wow. Spears takes the ball in the dirt. Did he go? No, he did not. And the count is 1-2.
And you talk about, I said earlier, the team that makes the fewest mistakes in this game is going to come away with the win. All 3 runs in this inning have been unearned.
2 runs in the inning.
Correct, my mistake.
1-2. Here's the toss. Fastball up, almost hits Spears in the chest, but he's able to dodge it, and the count is 2-2. Let's reiterate this inning. Elijah Alexander led off with a bunt. Shaken was later, Shaken, the next hitter, grounded into a double play, so Alexander and Shaken were out for 2 outs. Here's 2-2. It's high, and the count is 3-2. And then the Oaks started hitting the ball. Bart West had a base hit. He later came around to score. Kamiko reached on an error. He came around to score. Pickett's walked. He's on first base. And now Michael Spears has a full count. 3-2. Taken on the inside corner. Called strike 3. Spears doesn't love it, but a productive inning for the Oaks anyway. 2 runs a hit. 3 errors, a runner left aboard. To the bottom of the 5th we go. 7-4 in favor of Caneo. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Oaks Baseball on the Oaks Baseball Broadcasting Network. How about Aiden Tolan retaking his mound on his day? He's on for his 5th inning of work. He struggled in the 2nd and 3rd inning, but he recovered in the 4th with 3 6-3 ground outs over to Shaken. And now he's back on the hill facing Colin Shepard, who's 0 for 1 with a sacrifice bunt. He swings at the first pitch, sprinkled over to Pickens, who loses it. This is a sloppy game, Jonathan. Shepard will be aboard first base on Will Pickett's error.
Will Pickett's only had one error coming into this game, and he's doubled that total, at least here today. His second error of the game, and that's very uncharacteristic. Second base has been hard. We've seen some weird hops. We've seen some interesting footwork that has to be managed because of the ball going in all wonky ways. And Will Pickett's, he did have it in his glove, but when he brought it up to his body to protect it, that's when he mishandled it.
Nick Lacayo is 1 for 2. He's the new hitter, and he's dangerous out of the 3-hole. He goes to Michigan State. Dolan kicks and fires. Hit hard down the line, but foul. That was a missile off of the bat of Lacayo. But well foul. Out in left field, there is a warehouse, a brown warehouse. But beyond that, you see a classic Los Angeles house. It's really beautiful. Out in center field, there's a forest with a bunch of trees. And in right field, you see a building and a nice facility.
Yeah, it's the sorry, Jordan.
0-1 turns to 0-2, a swing and a miss on the curve.
That over right field, that building is actually the Pasadena Children's History Museum.
Really?
There's a very rich history of the inclusiveness of Pasadena. This land was built on Native American land, Arroyo Seco, in a Native American term. And the museum is actually a history of all of that. Very fascinating stuff. More about the youth, though, side of things versus the entire history.
Dolan sends the 0-2. It's in the dirt. Good block from Kamiko. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
I'll tell you what, Jordan, for all the errors we've seen in the field on both sides, the catching has been really good. I mean, Nick Lacayo on one side has been gobbling up would-be wild pitches. On the other side, Zach Kamiko getting very dirty on his end as well. It's been very nice to watch these catchers really play their positions very well.
Yeah, good call, Jonathan. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Here's the hurl from Dolan. First a check of the runner, a pause, and now the pitch. Ground ball. Pickett's this time feels the toss to Shaken. Sidearm over to first. 4-6-3. A double play. A quick 2 outs in the inning. And now John Thomas, the Saints slugger, comes to the plate with nobody aboard. He can't do that much damage now.
You know, it's a shame that Tanner Wright's injured because he's such a great player, but whether you have Will Pickett's or Tanner Wright at second, that middle infield is just deadly, and Pickett's made up for that error, negating the error or the runner that got on by way of the error with turning a beautiful 4-6-3, and man, this middle of the Oaks infield, something special this season.
We're spoiled. That's the only way to put it. John Thomas, the slugger, reached on an error and walked in his 2 plate appearances, and the count is 0-1 after he foul tips that one. John Thomas, as we mentioned, will be the lone hitting prospect representing Arroyo Seco tomorrow in Compton. 0-1 pitch. Curveball catches the corner, 0-2. And Thomas is the 10th ranked prospect in the CCL. Here's a guy who has a very bright future, especially with that pop from the left side of the plate. Next pitch gets by Kamiko, and the count is 1-2. One ball, 2 strikes. John Thomas is hitting .341 this year. No home runs yet, but 6 extra base hits. 1-2 is high. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Thomas has also drawn 12 walks. That's a fantastic number.
And he's a USC Trojan.
And he's got the frame to grow into a more power type of player. And what do you know? That's hit high and deep to center field at the track. Elijah Alexander saves the day, as he often does. 3 come up, 3 go down. No runs, no hits, an error. Nobody left aboard. We're on to the 6th inning on the Oaks Baseball Broadcasting Network. 7-4 is the score in favor of Caneo.
Leading off the
From Mid-America Nazarene, the new pitcher is Jacob Jenkins, the southpaw, who plays on both sides of the ball. He's a productive offensive hitter, and he actually leads the Saints in ERA as well in 7 1/3 innings. Pitched, his first pitch is high to Brandon Lewis, 1-0. Jenkins has a 2.46 ERA. He struck out 7 batters on the season. Final line on Mark Tyndall, 1 1/3, 4 hits, 3 runs, only 1 was earned. Lewis fouls one back to the screen, and the count is even at a ball and a strike.
How about a tall task for Jacob Jenkins? Having to try to retire at least Brandon Lewis, who's 2 for 3 with a home run and a triple today.
Yeah, welcome to the ball game, Mr. Jenkins. Tyndall did not walk anybody, didn't strike anybody out either. 1-1, off speed, away. Lewis lays off, 2-1. We mentioned Chase Cockrell, no longer leads in any offensive categories. 2-1, Lewis down the line, and that's another hit. Will he try and stretch it for extra bases? He will. He's into second with his 3rd extra base hit of the game, and Brandon Lewis is now just a base hit away from hitting for the cycle. He's gone backwards, Jonathan. A home run, then the triple, and now here in the 6th, a double.
And with one more guaranteed at-bat,
now batting number 37,
the easiest of all of the hits to get, Brandon Lewis just has to knock one in and tally up a single. How about that? There's already been a cycle in the CCL this season. Luke Ritter did it last weekend for the Foresters. Brandon Lewis trying to do his best impression of that here today.
McFarland is the new hitter. Here's the pitch. Call the strike, 0-1. Anyway, I was saying Chase Cockrell doesn't lead any offensive categories. Here's why. Brandon Lewis leads in average at-bats, runs, hits, singles, doubles, home runs, RBIs, walks, hit by pitches. As McFarland swings through 0-1, it's 0-2. That was a nasty pitch.
Wow. It looked like splitter on our end, but that was absolutely filth. McFarland, a very good breaking pitch hitter, swung right through that.
Runner on second base, nobody out. Here's the 0-2 toss. Low, good eye from McFarland, and the count is 1-2. Jenkins on the hill reminds me a lot of the southpaw Josh Hader on the Milwaukee Brewers. Of course, one of the Brewers' all-star representatives. That game is going on right now. It might be over. McFarland hits one hard right into the Oaks dugout. Watch out, boys. But they get out of the way in time.
No, not quite over. Mid-eighth, AL up 5-2 over the NL.
All right. Of course, that game being played at Nationals Park.
What a wonderful organization to host the All-Star game.
Yeah, a great organization. They really know how to build a team over there.
Great ownership.
1-2. McFarland takes high, and the count is even at 2.
This is a big spot for both these teams. 3 runs, definitely not an uphill battle in full for the Saints, but the Oaks also aren't comfortable with that 3-run lead. They want to tack on some more.
2-2 pitch. Low in the dirt, gets by the catcher, Lacayo, and Lewis is over to third base on the wild pitch.
And this is probably the prettiest evening that we have had all season long. We're in the mid-70s. Let's get a zoom out here, Sean, if we can. The sun is setting. The sky is lit up with orange and red.
And how about
blue.
the mountains in the distance out in left field?
You get a silhouette of the mountains and the Rose Bowl out over left field. There is just nothing better than an evening like this for some baseball.
Jonathan, every time you speak, it is poetry. Full count pitch. McFarland fights one back to the screen, and the count remains full.
I think that my poetry professor would disagree with you, but I appreciate the insight.
McFarland is 1 for 2 today. A strikeout, a walk, a stolen base, and a base hit to right field in the 4th. Big curveball, and even bigger swing and a miss. The first strikeout of the ball game for Jenkins. 1 out in the inning with Lewis on third base. Chase Cockrell, who's over 3, comes to bat.
Is Chase Cockrell the only Oaks batter to not get on base this game? Looks like it. Yeah, he is. How about that?
Wow.
The number 2 prospect in the CCL and the semifinals for the Golden Spikes. The only Oaks batter.
He's been scuffling recently. Takes off speed in the dirt. 1 ball, 0 strikes.
But a slump for Chase Cockrell is
about as good as I could do.
Right.
Ever.
As good as many players can do.
Right. 1 ball, no strikes. The pitch. Cockrell swings hard, but he comes up with error. 1-1. Thank you for watching Oaks Baseball. We always do appreciate the support, the fan interactions in our chat. It's a pleasure to bring you Oaks Baseball 5 to 6 times a week. 1-1 pitch. In the dirt again. 2-1.
Can't believe there's only 2, I guess, full weeks left of the season. How about that? Yesterday was the last Sunday. Or next Sunday. Last day was the last Sunday at home, but no more Sundays at home for the Oaks. I guess yesterday was Monday.
2-1 turns to 3-1. Another ball in the dirt. Jenkins wants nothing to do with Chase Cockrell.
So 2 days ago was the last Sunday home game for the Oaks, but man, as this season flied by, I mean, this is my 3rd season with the team, and I can say that this has been the quickest season from June 3rd until now that I've ever experienced.
3-1, another swing and a miss from Cockrell. He's been doing that a lot as of late, Jonathan. Just swinging through balls that he normally hits very hard.
He wasn't patient. There was a changeup he was out in front of, and Jenkins had his number. The key here for Cockrell, don't swing at a pitch you don't like. He often will swing at pitches deep in counts, but with a 3-2 count, we've seen a lot of full count walks here for the Oaks. Could be another one.
3-2 pitch. Cockrell strikes out swinging. 2 straight Ks for Jacob Jenkins. And the Oaks now in danger of stranding Brandon Lewis on third base.
That's what I was saying. That's a pitch low below the strike zone. You take that. It's ball 4. You have runners on the corners with Elijah Alexander, someone more than capable of bringing around at least Lewis, if not even Cockrell from first. But instead, on a full count, Cockrell was off balance, seemed a little bit out of it, and swung at a bad pitch for strike 3.
This is a tough matchup for Alexander. Jenkins The left-on-left matchup. First pitch down and inside to Alexander. 1-0. Not a huge crowd, but people in attendance certainly enjoying a good ball game. 1-0 pitch. Cockrell out in front of that one, lifts one to shallow left field, and that is caught by Ney to retire the side. The Oaks strand a runner on third base. Lewis was on third with nobody out in the inning. No runs, a hit, no errors, a runner left aboard. 7-4 Oaks. We'll be back on the other side of the break on the Oaks Baseball Broadcasting Network. Eric Ma is the new pitcher on the mound, replacing Aiden Dolan. Eric Ma goes to Whitman College. And so far this year for Eric, let's give you his line. Eric's appeared in 10 games. His ERA is very good, 2.65. The whip is at 1.12 in 17 innings pitched. He's also struck out 15 batters. Dolan's final line, 5 innings, 4 hits, 4 runs, all of them earned 2 walks and 2 strikeouts as well. We're in the 6th inning. Ma, one of the best arms in the bullpen, trying to hold on to this crucial game for the Conejo Oaks. First pitch from Eric. Fastball. Called a strike on the outside corner. Eric is so fun to watch on the mound because of that splitter. He features a fastball, slider, and that splitter. It is so filthy. Sometimes it looks like a slider, sometimes like a curveball, sometimes like a changeup. There it is. That time, it clearly looked like a ball, and it was. 1 ball and 1 strike.
We are at a prime angle for you viewers to watch that splitter. It is unlike any other pitch. Curveball, you know, has a very... each curveball has a rotation that you can kind of judge. A splitter, that thing goes all over the place. Besides a knuckleball, that splitter is perhaps one of the hardest pitches to predict as a batter.
Brennan McKenzie is 0 for 2 and is the hitter. 1-1 pitch on the outside corner. This is, Justin looking at a few pitches, this is the best I've seen Eric Ma's fastball look in a while.
Oh, looked great. You know, he talked about how he's been relying too much on his splitter because he's been uncomfortable with his fastball. He's been on a hiatus for the last couple of weeks, and he's worked on that fastball and looks great right now.
1-2, a splitter hit very hard, but very, very foul. And the count remains 1-2. The Oaks, 7 runs on 8 hits. A sloppy game, though, with 3 errors. The Saints, 4 runs, 5 hits, and equally sloppy with 3 errors of their own. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Ma gets his sign from the belt. Here's the pitch. 1-2, a splitter fouled back to the screen. Count remains 1-2. Cam and Co and the home plate umpire having a quick conversation. Ma, a deep breath. Here's the pitch. Fastball hit very hard. Bashed into right field for a base hit. And Brennan McKenzie aboard for the first time today. He checks in with a base hit, and he's now 1 for 3. Angelo Armenta, the new hitter, he's had himself quite the ball game. He hit the home run off of Aiden Dolan. And he also hit a base hit in the 3rd inning off of Dolan as well.
This is a big inning, sorry, Jordan, for the Saints, because as we get into the latter half of this ball game, remember the Oaks are a very good second half team, quote unquote, of ball games, or a fourth quarter team, if you will. The Saints want to try to minimize this deficit as much as possible and force the issue.
First pitch on the outside corner, called a strike. Armenta now down 0-1. And you're right, this is a crucial inning. We expect to see Angus Denton later in the ball game as he's the Oaks closer. If the score remains this close, 0-1, now 1-1, a fastball below the knees. We also have some news on John Vergara today. If we see him later in the game, which we could, it's a very close game. He's one of our best relievers. He actually committed to UC Irvine. The next pitch is a ball, 2 balls and a strike.
Very well deserved. He was getting a lot of looks, mostly D2s, Chico State, Sonoma State, really knocking at his door. Cal State Stanislaus, but he said, I am a Division I pitcher, and Irvine agreed. Good job, John Vergara.
2-1, low, ball 3. And Vergara, you're right, definitely well deserved. The 21st ranked pitching prospect in the CCL. If the game goes to extra innings, we might see him pitch tomorrow. That is if he doesn't go today, I'm sure. 3 balls a strike. Ma delivers a fastball, throws it right by Armenta to get the count full.
Eric Ma trying to be the first Oaks pitcher. I guess Dolan was the only other one, but to retire Armenta, you talk about a guy who's been struggling, 2 for 2 today with a home run, 3 RBIs, and a single. This could be his breakout game late in the season.
3-2 spiked in the dirt, and all of a sudden the Saints have the tying runner at the plate in the form of Dalton Ney. But Ney has had a tough day at the plate so far, 0 for 2, 2 swinging strikeouts.
You know what's rare? The Oaks all standing up in front of the dugout watching the game. Normally they're, Jordan, if we can get a shot, I know there's a pole in the way, so it might be a little bit hard. I think that pole, we might as well just bring the camera over. But regardless, it's very... They have gone to warning once or twice, but today they're all up at that stop.
The first pitch for Ma, the splitter low. A ball and no strikes.
And you know why that's different? I think this team down the stretch knows how much each game means. And I'm not saying they're not supportive. They have a wonderful team chemistry. I mean, you watch this team outside of the baseball realm. They love each other. But this is an intriguing situation.
Ground ball to Lewis. He tags third base. Overhand to West. He can't dig it out of the dirt. And that's going to be a 5 unassisted fielder's choice. So runners will be on first and second now. Armenta moves over to second base, and Ney gets to first base on the fielder's choice. The new hitter, Marco Martinez, 0 for 1, a 6-3 ground out in the 4th. He walked back in the 2nd inning. The Trojan is the tying runner right here.
Double play once again here for the Oaks.
First pitch fastball, no problem with that one. Right down the heart of the plate. No swing from Martinez, and the count is 0-1.
How about Mott? 4 batters, 4 fastballs, 4 strikes on the first pitch to all of them. That's consistency, and he's trying to stay aggressive.
Martinez does not have a home run yet this season. Splitter doesn't split enough. It remains high, A ball and a strike. Big moment in this ball game, Jonathan. Everybody on the edge of their seats. 1 ball, 1 strike. 1 out, 2 on. The pitch, a fastball. Kamiko tries to frame it, but it's a little bit too low. 2 balls and 1 strike. A must-win game for the Conejo Oaks if they want to stay close to those slow blues for the 4th spot in the playoff race. There's the best splitter we've seen all day. Splits below the knees, a big swing and a miss from Martinez. And now the count is 2-2. 7 runs, 8 hits, 3 errors for Conejo. 4 runs, 6 hits, 3 errors for Arroyo Seco. As the sun has completely set, the lights now illuminate the entirety of Jackie Robinson Field. Here's the pitch from Ma. Splitter. It's a little bit away, I think, and the count is full.
Yeah, high and away a little bit. Had to get Kamiko out of position. Another 3-2 situation here. The Oaks and Eric Ma especially do not want to walk the bases loaded, especially with Gabe Chavez, a great contact hitter, up to bat next.
Full count pitch, swung on and missed. Eric Ma reaches back and throws a fastball right by Martinez for the 2nd out of the inning.
We talked about how that splitter a couple of pitches ago was the best splitter. That was the best pitch that we've seen, not just by Eric Ma, but probably the best pitch we've seen all day, as Solis is going to come out and talk to him. That was a whiz right past Martinez. He was so far behind it, you thought he was swinging at air by the time that bat left his shoulders.
What a pitch from Ma. He's going to have a quick meeting, as you said, Jonathan, with Coach Solis. Brandon Lewis is right there. Bart West as well. And, of course, Zach Kamenko on the mound as well. I expect Coach Solis to let Eric Ma stay in the game.
Solis doesn't like pulling pitchers with 2 outs. I think we've learned that. He likes to talk to them. Number 1, this gives his team an opportunity to discuss, take a break from the game. Number 2, I'm sure the Oaks have somebody warm up. We actually can't tell. The bullpen is very far out of our space of perception or point of view from where we're situated behind home plate. But if there is somebody warming up, this is an opportune time to stall and give them some more innings. He doesn't want Ma to go more than at least 1 or 2 innings in a game because Ma's coming off of an injury, and this is a good spot for him to continue to develop and work his way back into the rotation up at Whitman.
Eric Ma will face Gabe Chavez. He's hit the ball hard today, but he's 0 for 2. He's had big hits against the Oaks this year so far. With a runner on 1st and 2nd, Ma sends the first pitch. Splitter, called a strike inside corner. He really confused Gabe Chavez on that pitch. That was nasty. Filth of the highest order from Eric Ma to get ahead 0-1. The pitch, low, a ball and a strike.
This is going to become a battle between a very smart hitter and a very smart pitcher. Who will come out victorious at the end? We're already underway here, 1-1 the count. It's going to be a battle.
1-1 for Ma. Fastball, punched, a diving catch from Bart West. What a play to end the inning. Bart West comes up big and saves the Oaks. No runs, a hit, no errors, and 2 runners left on base. The Oaks cling to a 7-4 lead. We're on to the 7th inning. You're watching Oaks Baseball on the Oaks Baseball Broadcasting Network. We're back for the top of the 7th inning. Jacob Jenkins, his day is done. The new pitcher is Brian McConnell. For all information relevant to the new pitcher and Jenkins' final line, here's Jonathan Rifkind on play-by-play.
Thank you so much, Jordan. You did an unbelievable job tonight in the middle 3 innings. I am jealous of your ability. I think that was perhaps your best of the season. I don't know, but maybe our viewers will be the judge. Sam Shakin will dig in. As you mentioned, Jacob Jenkins' day is done. 1 inning, 1 hit, no runs, no walks, no strikeouts.
By the way, thank you, Jonathan. Very nice.
My pleasure. But yeah, as you mentioned, McConnell, the new pitcher on the mound, 2.45 ERA and only a 3 2/3 inning pitch, deals the first pitch to Shakin. It's right back at us. And can we get a shot on this, Sean? It's actually caught right in front of us. I'm going to grab that. Actually, no, Bart West, he's been catching the balls left and right today. He's going to be the one to knock it down. But
he's been hitting everything, but he had trouble hitting that one out of the fence.
Let's hope that's the only thing he had trouble hitting. All right, on this day for Shakin, 0 for 2. He was hit by a pitch, a fly out, and a ground out. Strike 1 up on the board. McConnell is undecided where he wants to go. He's from Altadena, California. Toes the rubber and offers inside. 1 ball and 1 strike here to Shakin. He played 3 years on his varsity high school team. 48 games were under his belt career-wise. Had a 1.28 career ERA. That is unbelievable. And he was 2015 Pasadena Star News Player of the Year. Played 1 year at JC and now looks for a new home in the fall. Toes the rubber and offers. Up and in, ball 2. The Oaks so far 2-0 under the lights this season. They've only played 2 games, both in San Luis Obispo, or 1 against San Luis Obispo and 1 elsewhere. I'm forgetting where it was, but I know they are 2-0, and tonight trying to push that to 3-0. 2 more games under the lights, Friday and Saturday, up in Sloan and Pershing Park in Santa Barbara. The side armor misses 1 outside, 3 balls and a strike here to Shakin. See Sam Shakin tomorrow in the Prospect game. Oh, Healdsburg, that was the other evening game. Thank you for that. But this is a big game, as we've been talking about all day long. The Blues have crept up in the off days. They are on a 7-game winning streak, though they have a 2-day hiatus, which means if the Oaks win, they're tied with the Blues. Shakin drives 1 to left field. It's in the park, and a beautiful catch out there to his right. Dalton Ney for out number 1.
I thought that was gone off the bat. I'll own up to that. I started waving that ball goodbye as it was off the bat. A severe misjudgment on my part, but still a pretty good swing from Sam Shakin.
That flag out in center field, dead still. No wind to speak of as evening has greeted us here in Pasadena, California. Bart West now stepping in. He has been very good today. 2 for 3, a home run, a single. He had an amazing catch to the end of the 6th inning. Foul tips the first pitch off the helmet of Nick Lacayo for strike 1. For the Oaks, they have 7 runs on 8 hits and 3 errors. 4 runs, 6 hits, and 3 errors on the Saints side. The Saints have been statistically eliminated from the playoff race, as well as the SoCal Catch and the Academy Barons. 5 teams competing for 4 spots. I actually think it's 4 teams competing for 3 spots now, as that pitch is a fastball in the upper outside part of the plate, 0-2 here to West. The Foresters have locked up the best league record, so they're the number 1 seed. But there's only a 1.5 game difference between the Conejo Oaks in the 5th seed and the Healdsburg Prune Packers in the 2nd seed. It is a tight race. Here comes the 0-2 from McConnell. Outside, West thought about it, wisely held back. Ball 1 now on the board. Prospect game tomorrow. Jordan and I will be there, and we'll be doing continuous interviews throughout the day with Oaks players. They'll be showcasing their skills for 30-plus scouts throughout the day. The 1-2 slapped over to third, but foul. Oaks third base coach Brian Wilson makes the grab. And Jackson Simonsgard gives him some love from the Oaks dugout. 1 ball and 2 strikes still to West. But throughout the day, starting at 2:25, there'll be showcases. The first pitch is scheduled for 7:05. Jordan and I, throughout the day, will be interviewing Oaks players throughout Twitter. There won't be much of an announcement because we don't know how the day will look, but you can always go back and watch those. They'll stay up on Twitter. A broken bat dribbler to third. Shepard deals it over to first. The throw is high. Does West beat it out? No, he did not, and that was a bang-bang play. At the end of the day, though, West is retired for out number 2.
I thought with how West's day has been going so far, he's for sure going to make that. But that was a spectacular play by Shepard, charging that baseball, throwing it across his body, sidearm, over to Martinez in time for the out. All you got to do on that play is tip your cap. That was spectacular.
West was out by half a step, and Zach Kamiko steps in. 0 for 1, 2 walks. He reached on an error and scored back in the 5th inning. From 2:30 to 5:30, Jordan and I will be continuously interviewing the Oaks players. And at 7 o'clock is the game. That'll be on Fox. Kamiko gets jammed, dribbles one over to first. He's going to try to beat it out. And no, he can't. The 3-1 puts him out. And the 1-2-3 inning here in the 7th means it's time to stretch. 7-4 remains the score of the Oaks lead. Get up and stretch those muscles. It's been a long game, and we still have 2.5 innings at least to play. 7-4 the score here on the Oaks Baseball Broadcasting Network. It's a fun one. Don't go anywhere. From New Mexico State, Tristan Peterson will get his first at-bat at the top of the order. Back here in the bottom of the 7th. I hope you enjoyed this stretch. We certainly did. 7-4 the score. I hope you're enjoying the game as well, no matter how you're watching or where you're watching. We appreciate you making Oaks baseball a part of your Tuesday evening plans. Eric Ma back on the mound. Peterson digging in here. He comes in place of Jack Smith, who had a very productive day, 2 for 3 from the right-handed batter's box. And Ma's first pitch slinged in there for strike 1. Nice fastball there.
I love to see that confidence on the mound from Eric Ma. This is his mound right now.
He's trying to control every at-bat. Toes the rubber and offers the 0-1. Splitter dropping below the strike zone to even the count. Peterson batting 164. 71 plate appearances, 55 at-bats. He's struck out 26 times, which leads the team. He's walked 12. That one misses for ball 2. There's a balloon that's floating out in left center field. Actually, more in left field. I wonder if you get extra runs if you pop it out of the air on a fly ball.
Yeah, what would happen? If you hit that balloon out of the air, would
it
the
may
ball
not
still
be,
go out?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe the balloon will play some defense. That one, though, a high, deep drive to center field. Alexander giving chase at the wall, and it's off the nets. The balloon didn't get in the way, and I think that Peterson was happy about that. He knocks around his first of the season, and look at that. It's a 7-5 ball game here in the bottom of the 7th inning.
Miami of Ohio, number 4.
What a swing from Tristan Peterson. Off the bench, I should add. His first at-bat of the game, and he was ready to hit. He caught a fastball up. He took it the opposite way and hit a laser over the center field fence. Elijah Alexander was thinking about robbing it, but he couldn't quite get there. The ball was a little bit too high for him.
2 hits and 1 run under Eric Ma's reign so far in his second inning of work. He's also had 1 strikeout and 1 walk. He'll want that one back, though. And a 2-run ball game, a little bit closer than a 3-run, especially later in this game. The first pitch, a big swing and a miss from Shepard. But going back to what we were saying, I do think that that balloon would withhold a ball from leaving the ballpark, assuming that one, unless it was hit a Brandon Lewis shot, I think it would just go right through it. But right now, the balloon not posing any threat out in left center. We'll see what happens. That one fouled off the plate. No balls and 2 strikes. Maybe an extra defender, if you will, out there.
Yeah, good for the Oaks. They don't need to have a 4-man outfield shift because they got that balloon out there protecting left center field.
Yeah, Elijah Alexander can move to his left a little bit and protect right center a tad more now. That balloon descending now, and it looks like it'll hit the field of play here soon. We'll see who decides to gather it. But first, no balls and 2 strikes here to Shepard. 0 for 2 today, reached on an error. He had a sac bunt, and he grounded out in a double play. The 0-2, though, a beautiful splitter, swung on and missed. Strikeout number 2 on the day here for Ma. Out number 1 up on the board. 7-5 remains the score.
Yeah, Shepard had no idea where that splitter was going to end up.
From Cal State Northridge.
And ultimately, when he swung, it ended up in Kamenko's glove on a swinging strikeout. Eric Ma, another nasty splitter today.
New pinch hitter in place of Nick Lacayo, who ends his day 1 for 3 with a single, an RBI, a ground out, and a strikeout, is the CSUN product, Mitch Kerner. We've seen Mitch a couple of times here. Now this is the 4th game between these two teams. On the season for Mr. Kerner, 4th on the team in batting average. He's batting .318, 6 RBIs. He leads the team in stolen bases with 12, 8 strikeouts, 1 walk, 46 plate appearances.
And Jonathan, I think there was a guy who just went out to left center field to get that balloon.
Oh, did we miss it? Oh, I missed it.
Actually, Sean got the camera work. So.
Oh, thank you, Sean. First pitch, a strike at the knees. I missed it. I was too busy writing my scorebook, the new batter, but I'm glad that our viewers had an opportunity to find the conclusion or the thrilling ending of that balloon's tenure as a fielder here.
It's all right, Jonathan. You can go back and watch it later.
Very true. Ma's next pitch misses low. 1's across the board now. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 away, and 1 around in the inning. The black night sky looming overhead. The lights buzzing and giving this field a washed out look. The 1-1 misses low, 2-1 the count, but the temperature now in the low 70s, nice and cool after our 86 degree temperature start. And very lovely now for the latter half of this game. Ma offers the 2-1 upstairs, ball 3. Seven runs, 8 hits, 3 errors for the Oaks. 5, 7, and 3 in the same categories for the Saints. Ma's fastball misses low and away. Ball 4. His second walk on the game.
From USC,
and Mitch Kerner, a very fast base runner over at first base, will look to find a way around the base path as Dave Solis will come up with the dangerous bat of John Thomas stepping in.
Yeah, that'll probably do it for Eric Ma. John Thomas, such a threat in the batter's box. It looks like we're going to see Jackson Simonsgard come into the game. And a fist bump from Jonathan. We love watching Jackson pitch.
Shout out to his parents watching today's game. And Jackson, now with his 3rd appearance of the season, we'll give you more on the 5th-year Oaks pitcher when we come back right here on the Oaks Baseball Broadcasting Network. Runner on first, 1 out and 1 around in a 7-5 ball game. Jackson Simonsgard, the most veteran man in the CCL and longest tenured Caneo Oak, now on the mound. Lefty on lefty matchup against John Thomas in the first pitch. A strike. No, called a ball. Not exactly sure where that missed, but it is indeed a ball. Eric Ma went 1 1/3 innings. 2 hits, 1 run. Pair of walks and 3 strikeouts to his day. Simonsgard toes the rubber. Heads to Roger State in the fall by way of Ventura College. Checks the runner at first and offers the 0-1, or the 1-0. That one called a strike on the lower half of the plate to even the count. 1 ball and a strike. On the season for Jackson, this is his 3rd appearance in 4 1/3 innings pitched. He has a 4.5 ERA. 5 strikeouts, 1 walk. The 1-1. A strike on the outside corner. 1 ball and 2 strikes. He doesn't throw very fast in the mid-80s, but his mechanics are what he uses to his ability. You look at how he, from the stretch, gathers himself and releases that ball. It is so hard for for batters to pick up on, and the fundamentals of pitching he utilizes to his advantage.
Precision Jackson.
1-2 in. Half-hearted swing actually hits the glove of Kamenko, but the ball goes foul nonetheless, and this count remains 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Actually, I think they're going to say that hit him.
Now batting center
Interesting.
fielder from Cal Poly Pomona,
And
number 18.
Simonsgard is going to get an explanation from our umpire. He doesn't like that at all. It's hard for us to tell over here, but you know what? At the end of the day, the umpire has to get the benefit of the doubt. A walk and a hit by a pitch. Jackson's first batter has been hit. Puts runners on first and second. Tying run now at first base.
And that's just a confusing call because it looked like Thomas went around to swing anyway. Maybe that was a catcher's interference. I
know what?
know.
I do think that was a call. I think because Kamenko's glove was up and you saw his glove come off by way of the bat. I think that they did indeed call a catcher's interference. So runner on first and second. 2-run ball game and only 1 out. Double play situation here as Brennan McKenzie steps in. Skies 1 to center field. Playable, though, for Alexander. He gets under it, makes the catch. Runner tagging from second to third. The throw, it's going to be close. And it's cut off over at second base. And everybody is safe.
From San Diego State, number 11.
Wow, what a play right there. Over to third was Kerner. Over to second was Thomas. And those were very gutsy tags, and they ended up panning out here for the Saints.
Wow. John Thomas looked to be out at second base. The umpire over at second base was prepared to call him out. He wound up his out call, and then at the last second, he called him safe, and all of a sudden the tying runner is in scoring position.
And with the guy that you don't want up at the plate, it's Angelo Armenta. He's 2 for 2 today. A home run, an RBI single in the 3rd, and a walk in the 6th. He has 3 RBIs and a 2 for 2 day. Takes a fastball up and in for ball 1.
And I'm curious to see what his splits are. I don't think we have that available here in the CCL, but he is a switch hitter. He's done all of his work today from the left-handed side of the plate.
Yeah, the CCL doesn't, unfortunately, provide us with those stats, but some batters like one side over the other. Oak's own Bailey Holbrook is a switcher. He doesn't care, so maybe Armenta doesn't care as well. But he probably gets a lot more at-bats from that left-handed side. We'll see how he fares here. The 1-0. Swing and a miss, strike 1. Beautiful comeback fastball here for Simonsgard.
This is the guy you want on the hill if you're the Oaks. Jackson Simonsgard, so much experience, has pitched so many big innings, high leverage situations.
And you talk about all the confidence in the world and a great attitude. That's Jackson Simonsgard in a nutshell.
He's your guy in this situation, no doubt about it.
Calmly coming set on the rubber from the belt. Runners at second and third, 2 outs. The 1-1 low. 2 balls and a strike now to Armenta. Waiting on deck, should we get that far, is Dalton Ney. The Saints itching to tie up this ball game. They took the early lead in the second inning. It was 2-0. The Oaks responded with a run in the third to make it 2-1. 2 more runs in the bottom of the third gave the Saints a 4-1 lead, but the Oaks exploded for 4 runs in the fourth and 2 runs in the fifth to go up 7-4, and a run here in the 7th inning for the Saints have cut the lead to 2. Simonsgard rocks and fires. Curveball popped back against the screen, and now we have an even count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Jackson Simonsgard has had quite a colorful career as a baseball pitcher. He cut his hand open doing dishes a couple of years ago and had to medically redshirt at Oxnard College because of it. Ended up playing a couple years at Ventura College, and last season, Forster's assistant coach, Skyler, from Rogers State, loved what he saw from Jackson on the mound and offered, on behalf of Rogers State, to Jackson a scholarship, of which he took, and he'll be headed to Oklahoma in the fall. The 2-2 upstairs, ball 3. Well-deserved, though, and he had a sub-2 ERA last season with the Oaks, following a 3.72 ERA season 2 years ago with Conejo. You talk about a veteran who everybody knows, respects, and listens to. Jackson Simonsgard makes his voice known. He's a leader, both in the clubhouse and on the field. And right now trying to lead his team, or keep his team in the lead with a full count. Payoff pitch. Upstairs, ball 4. Armenta takes a 6-pitch walk, and that loads up the bases for the big batter in Dalton Ney. He's 0 for 2. Will look to change up his fortunes here with the bases loaded and 2 outs. After the home run that Peterson hit in the 7th inning, or to begin the 7th inning for the Saints, 3 walks coupled with 2 outs. No other hits, and the bases are loaded. First pitch in there for strike 1, a fastball right over the heart of the plate.
Big-time sinker from Simonsgard. Started at the front hip of Ney, and then he gave up on it, and when he did, it ended up right down the middle.
Thomas at second, Kerner at third, Armenta at first. The 0-1, a big cut and a miss for strike 2.
Nasty.
Simonsgard, he has a very nasty 12-6 curveball. We'll see if he brings it out here from the belts. Roxon fires the 0-2. High fastball, cut on and missed. And on 3 pitches, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Mr. Ney. He is retired on the strikeout. 1 run, 1 hit, no errors. The bases left, juice for Arroyo Seco. The Oaks maintain a 7-5 lead through 7. We'll be right back from Jackie Robinson Memorial Field on the Oaks Baseball Broadcasting Network. The Pierce Junior College product turned Cal State Bakersfield Roadrunner. Will Picketts leads things off here for the Oaks. Welcome back, everybody. Top of the 8th inning. 7-5 Oaks lead the Saints. 9-1 and 2 batters due up. Brian McConnell back on the mound for his second inning of work. The Oaks got out of a jam by way of the great pitching of Jackson Simonsgard to end the 7th. Forced the Saints to leave the bases loaded, and now the Oaks will try to tack on a couple of insurance runs. The first pitch from McConnell, a strike on the outside. On the day for Picketts, he's been on base twice, but he's 0 for 2. Fly out, a fielder's choice in the 4th. He came around to score thereafter, and a walk in the 5th. That walk, though, was the best sequence of fight I've seen by a batter all season long, at least for the Oaks. McConnell takes a breath, rocks and fires that pitch, a slow off-speeder. Finding the bottom of the strike zone. Had Picketts wondering where that one was going to land, and it landed for strike number 2. Stadium very quiet right now. The only noise of sorts is the buzzing from our floodlights. As McConnell comes set, peers and fires the 0-2. It was upstairs. Picketts thought about it. He tried holding back, but the inner part of his bat made contact and fouled it off. Count remains no balls and 2 strikes.
It's going to be a tough choice to see what we got on Oaks post game. If we have time for it. It is late. But
it's going to happen.
Okay, great.
Don't worry.
Good choices. Brandon Lewis, Bart West.
Those are the 2 I was thinking as well. 0-2 pitch, called strike 3 on the outside corner. The bat never officially leaves the shoulder of Picketts, and he strikes out looking for out number 1 here in the 8th inning.
I think if Brandon Lewis
hits
gets
for the
to
cycle,
the cycle,
you and I are on the same page, Jordan.
Yeah, we don't have a choice. No matter how much
Michael.
he doesn't like talking to the media. He's a quiet guy, but definitely one of the best on and off the field dudes on this team.
What a great guy. Michael Spears, another great guy, steps in here. He's 1 for 3. Single, walk, a run scored, a strikeout, and a flyout to his day. First pitch outside, ball 1. A little bit of an overextension there from McConnell. Forced that off-speeder outside. Spears possesses a lot of speed. We'll see here. Perhaps with the corners of the infield playing further back than normal. I don't think he'll lay one down, but maybe hit for contact as opposed to one to the outfield. 1-0 pitch, though, catches the outside corner. 1 ball and 1 strike. It's been a quiet second half of this ball game. Both teams a little bit lackluster on the offensive end. We saw a lot of errors, though, earlier, 6 combined. That pitch gets way outside, past the glove of Mitch Kerner, who came in at catcher for ball 2 here to Michael Spears. 7 runs, 8 hits, 3 errors for Conejo. 5 runs, 7 hits, 3 errors for the Arroyo Seco Saints. The Saints in their second year in the CCL. 2 years ago, they were quote-unquote affiliate, which is what the Ventura County Bucks are this season. And the Saints ended up accepting an invitation extended by the CCL to join the league. And wow, a changeup on the inside corner. The umpire called it strike 3, but it was 2-1. That's why I was a little confused there, but it does even account. And Spears looked at him and said, "Are you sure?" Normally, I'm the one who's off with the math on the baseball diamond.
Yeah, Michael Spears was on top of his at-bat. He wasn't about to be sold short.
McConnell looking for the real strike 3, delivers. That one called strike 3 on the outside corner. Spears knew it. And as Rasheed Wallace once said, the ball don't lie. Out number 2 now. 2 consecutive strikeouts, both looking here for Brian McConnell.
All right, here's the big moment. Brandon Lewis, a chance to hit for the cycle. He's gotten a hit in 3 straight at-bats. He started off with a homer in the 3rd, a double in the 4th, or a triple in the 4th, and a double in the 6th. Let's see if the trend continues with a base hit here.
Brandon Lewis has been on Psycho Watch 3 other times this season. This is his 4th. All he needs is a base knock. McConnell will try to end the inning, though, the first pitch. Change up low for ball 1. Talk about a guy with resilience. Brandon Lewis has just that. He will wait for his pitch. I feel like it's rare to see him hit singles at this point in the season. Most of his hits go for extra bases.
That's a good point.
McConnell trying to control this at-bat. Offers the 1-0. Grounder over to short. Taylor-made. Armenta bobbles it. Over to first. It's well over the head of Martinez. It's not a single. It's an error. Brandon Lewis is going to go over to second, and E6. Or I guess 2 E6s, actually. Puts 5 errors now on the board for the Saints, and Brandon Lewis to second.
37, Jordan.
So instead of being 4 for 5, he's still 3 for 5, but he's reached base 4 times. He was really hustling out there the first. He has some speed, but it was just the error that allowed him to get over there.
Not meant to be. But a good chance we see Brandon Lewis hit for the cycle some other time because he's on cycle watch almost every day.
2 away, runner on second. Jordan McFarland stepping in. First pitch from McConnell. Inside ball 1 on the day for Mr. McFarland. 2 strikeouts and 2 singles in between them. An RBI and a stolen base to his day. Hope everybody's enjoying their Tuesday evening. If you're further east than California in the United States, we really appreciate you making us a part of your evening as that pitch misses low for ball 2. No matter how you're watching or where you're watching, we appreciate you making Sean, Jordan, and myself a part of your Tuesday evening plans. You'll be getting a lot of us in the next week. And we'll also be the official voice of the CCL for the playoffs, so if the Oaks make it or if the Oaks don't make it, we'll still be on the air. 2-0 is a changeup, painting the outside corner. 2 balls and a strike. Lewis taking a 3-step lead off of second. He does have 6 stolen bases, but there's really no reason to send him. Perhaps maybe a hit and run. McConnell checks him. 2-1 in. Off speeder. McFarland fought it off. It's even the count. 2 balls and 2 strikes now. Of the starting 9 for the Oaks, the only batter to have yet to get on is Chase Cockrell, and he's waiting on deck. He would lead off the top of the ninth. Should at least keep him in, and you know he's itching for the Oaks to get 9 for 9 in terms of batters on base this game. 2s across the board. McConnell checks Lewis once again. Gloves the ball at the belt. Checks Lewis again. Rocks and fires the 2-2. Called strike 3 on the outside corner. Strikeout looking, an error Lewis to second, and a strikeout looking is your top of the 8th inning. That's 3 beautiful strikeouts for McConnell, and the Oaks get no runs, no hits, 2 errors on Armenta at short, and 1 left on base. We're through 7.5. The Saints have 6 outs to try and make up the difference at 7-5 in Jackson Simonsgard. We'll be back on the mound after the break on the Oaks Baseball Broadcasting Network. One of 3 USC Trojans in this game, but 1 of 2 on the Saints. Marco Martinez leads things off here against Jackson Simonsgard for the home half of the 8th inning. To my right, Jordan Brenner, myself, Jonathan Rifkin, Sean McKinnon on production. Happy to be with you for this evening's game, late in the ball game. Though a scrappy ball game at that. Jackson Simonsgard will look to try to stifle the Saints offense. The first pitch popped up into foul territory. Bart West on the run. And he finds that baseball and gloves it for out number one. One pitch, one out here in the bottom of the 8th inning.
Great play by Bart West. That's a tough play to make with the lights on and how much room there is in foul territory on the right side. A sensational play by Bart West, actually, because it's so easy to lose that one in the lights.
Bart West has been the golden glove of the day, at least for the Oaks in the field. He is back to pick some balls, made some incredible catches. And right there, tracked down a tough foul ball for out number one. Gabe Chavez stepping in 0 for 3, a pair of groundouts to short and a fly out to center to his day. The lefty hurls the first pitch upstairs for ball one. How about 9 errors combined in today's game?
Wow.
That is the most we've seen all season long. We have yet to see a team go above 4. The Saints have 5, so that's a new one. 1-0 up the middle. Chavez reaches first on a one-out single. The speedy Cal State Dominguez Hills second baseman finally getting on base, and Dave Solis, the Oaks head coach, is going to come out to the mound. Not sure if Simonsgard's day will be over or if it'll just be a conversation. Again, the bullpen is cut off from our point of view, but he does give the sign to Joey Garcia, the Oaks bench coach out there. It looks like Simonsgard's day will be over. Angus Denton, the Arkansas superstar closer, will come on in to pitch. More on him, Jackson Simonsgard's day, and the rest of this bottom of the 8th inning. After this on the Oaks Baseball Broadcasting Network, runner on first, one out. We'll be right back. Angus Denton relieves Jackson Simonsgard, who had a pretty good day on the mound, an inning and a third, no hits, no runs. He did hit a batter and walk a batter, and he had a strikeout. But now Angus Denton will look to close things out here in an inning and 2/3 appearance for an opportunity to get his 5th save of the season. He has yet to blow a save. The first pitch upstairs, ball one. Leads the team with a 1.37 ERA and a .71 whip. In 19 and 2/3 innings, 19 strikeouts, only 5 walks, and 3 earned runs. Talk about efficiency. This guy is a superstar closer for this team. The Oaks have to be careful. Gabe Chavez over at first is very fast, and that one misses for ball 2. Stu Peterson back at the top of the order. Tristan Peterson is 1 for 1 with a home run.
Coach Solis went to Denton to get the double play.
Side armor hurls that one in there. 2-1 the count after the called strike. The number 1 hole has been very good for the Saints. 3 for 4. A single, a double, and a home run combined between Jack Smith and Tristan Peterson. Peterson trying to continue it. Chavez on the move. The hit and run, though, was fouled off, and that evens the count. Regardless of if that ball was made contact, Chavez would have been safe at second. He is so quick, but a foul attempt makes him run back to first base. Denton, an Oaks returner, last year had a 3.24 ERA. This season has worked on his mechanics a lot and keeps batters off balance. He doesn't throw very hard in the mid-80s, but talk about efficiency. The 2-2, nasty, swung on a miss for strike 3. Out number 2 now here in the 8th inning.
From Miami of Ohio, number 4, Colin Shepard.
What a pitch from Angus Angry Denton, because he makes hitters so angry when he pitches, especially with that frisbee slider right there.
There's nothing as a batter you can do to catch up to that. It starts off at the belt, over the heart of the zone, and then it works outward away from the zone, and by the time you commit, it's too late.
That's the type of strikeout as a hitter where you're not even mad at yourself. You just appreciate the greatness in front of you.
First pitch is a strike to Shepard. That throw gets away. Chavez stole second. He will advance to third. And that's a stolen base and an error on Zach Kamenko, putting an important run at third base, 90 feet away from scoring a one-run ball game. Would be very nice if you're the Saints. That's a stolen base for Chavez, and then an E2 advances him to third. How about this? 5 errors for the Oaks, 5 errors for the Saints.
The Oaks and the Saints just love giving their coaching staff heart attacks today. They're making this as suspenseful as possible.
The 0-1. Off speeder over into left field, but called foul just to the left of the line. Denton ahead of Shepard, 0-2. Shepard on the day, 0 for 3. Double play strikeout and reached on an error back in the 5th. He did have a sac bunt, though, to advance Jack Smith back in the 3rd inning. Ahead in the count, 0-2. Colin Shepard from Miami, Ohio. Pops one back. Is there room for Kamenko? He tries to find it, but he slides just short of the fence, and that ball finds the other end of the fence. Count remains 0-2. Off day tomorrow, back home on Thursday against these Saints. That'll be the 4th and final matchup between these two teams on Friday. Team will head up to SLO Saturday in Santa Barbara and Sunday in Santa Barbara. Day off Monday. And the final 3 games of the season, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday, all at home for the Oaks. It's been a fun season, but it is far from over with just how close this playoff race really is. Tonight's game, most important of the season so far for this team, and Denton trying to give his team that edge. The 0-2. Another fouled off pitch. How about Shepard fighting off some tough pitches, and Denton really having to focus to try to get him out.
I think you might see a slider here to the lefty, even though Denton likes to change up against lefties. He might throw a slider right here.
Slider misses outside. Very
Almost
close, yeah. 1 ball and 2 strikes, the count. That pitch misses low and away as well. The Oaks dugout doesn't like it, but at the ballpark, everybody seems to be an umpire. Of course, the only umpiring call that matters is the one behind the plate. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 away, runner on third. 2-run ball game. Denton offers another foul by Shepard. This is a battle right now. Coming on pitch number 8 now from Angus. Thank you to Jacob Placker, wonderful statistician. The 2-2 popped up to center field. Alexander on the move, digging, and he makes the catch. And that ends the inning. The battle goes to Angus Denton. And no runs on 1-hit wonder. And Chavez left at third for the Saints. It's time for the top of the 9th. Cockrell, Alexander, and Shaken. The 3-2 up. 7-5 remains the score. From Jackie Robinson Memorial Field here in Pasadena, California, you're watching Oaks Baseball on the Oaks Baseball Broadcasting Network.
55, Luke Laflamme.
Luke Laflamme from Arizona State getting some work here late in the ballgame. He'll be tasked with trying to hold this very hot Caneo Oaks offense to 0 runs and give his team one more chance at the bottom of the ninth to make up the 2-run deficit. He relieves for Brian McConnell, who went 2 innings, no hits, no runs, no walks, and 3 really nice strikeouts, all 3 looking back in the 8th inning. Laflamme from Arizona State on the season, only 3 2/3 under his belt. Innings pitched, that is. He does have a 12.27 ERA. That's 5 earned runs in those 3 2/3 innings. 5 walks and 1 strikeout on his season. He's the 6th Saints pitcher of the day, and he'll be tasked with facing Chase Cockrell, the semifinalist for the Golden Spikes Award this past season, given up to the best player in college baseball. Cockrell went .324 this past season with Ole Miss. He was the DH Player of the Year in the SEC. He was the SEC Silver Slugger, and he just missed out to Mr. Vaughn from Cal for the Golden Spikes Award. But Chase Cockrell, always on watch for some sort of award, digging in here. He is 0 for 5, 2 strikeouts, a flyout, and a groundout. The first pitch from Laflamme, upstairs, ball 1. Cockrell, the lone oak, in the batting order to not find a way to reach base. Other Oaks have found ways via fielder's choices, walks, hit by pitches, or hits. Chase Cockrell still searching for his first one here in the top of the 9th. Laflamme offers the 1-0. Inside, but called a strike to even the count. Here in our 3rd hour and 11th minute of play. It's been a really fun game, one of the most fun of the season. And it's not over yet, the 1-1 in. Almost spiked in the dirt, but before that happened, Kerner able to get the back of his glove on it, though that pitch was low and outside, 2-1.
Chase Cockrell itching to get a fastball elevated that he can get his hands on. Because with this type of velocity on the mound, Cockrell doesn't even have to supply all of his incredible power to get this ball out of here.
Here comes the 2-1. Foul tipped off of the face mask of Kerner, and that evens the count to Cockrell. He just seems like a beat off right now in the batter's box.
He does. Hopefully he figures it out right now so he can have a good showcase for himself tomorrow at the CCL Prospect game, and more importantly, for the playoff push and hopefully the playoffs going forward.
It's Caneo Oaks searching for their first ring in team history. The 2-2, a curveball. Cockrell got a piece of it and fouled it back. The count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes. The team was founded in 2006 by Mike Sosha, who still owns the team, the ABDG organization. Shout out to our wonderful general manager, Randy Riley. They are the ownership group, and the Oaks have made the playoffs consistently since 2006 and have played in a handful of championships, but have yet to win. The 2-2. Curveball. High into the night sky down the right field line. A trio of Saints under it, and Chavez at second base in foul territory makes the catch for out number 1. And an 0 for 6 day for Chase Cockrell. I never thought I'd say those words before in my entire life.
Elijah Alexander.
My mistake, 0 for 5. Still
never thought you'd say that.
Right, still not as impressive or great, but you know what? Everybody has those days. Everybody has those stretches. He only has 1 hit in his last 4 games, and still batting over at 370, or 360, excuse me. It's not like he's having a bad season by any stretch, and I can assume that tomorrow's prospect showcase, he will still display all of the fundamentals that we've seen. It looks like we're going to have a pitching change. Laflamme came in and got Cockrell out in his only batter face. We're going to have a new pitcher. We'll give you who he is and what he has done so far this season when we come back. You're watching Oaks Baseball, 1 away, 7-5 the score here. Top of the 9th, Elijah Alexander set to step in when we come back. Cal State LA Golden Eagle Jackson Bond will be tasked with facing against the Southpaw Elijah Alexander in a lefty-on-lefty matchup. Luke LaFlamme went one inning, or excuse me, not even one inning. He went 1/3 of an inning. No hits, no runs, no walks, no strikeouts in the lone batter faced against Chase Cockrell. And Elijah Alexander, who's 1 for 4 today with a single, 2 flyouts, and a groundout, steps in. First pitch bounces low for ball 1. Nobody on, 1 away, 7-5 our score, top of the 9th inning. The Saints trying to keep this Oaks offense at bay, because they know they can put up 2 runs, especially with the middle of their order, 2 up in the bottom. But first, a high drive down to right field, but it stays in the ballpark. And Tristan Peterson gloves it for out number 2. It looked very good off the bat, but just got caught up in the night air.
Yeah, good swing, though, for Alexander against a tough lefty. Left-on-left matchups are a big deal, and I think we're seeing another pitching change. Wow.
Indeed we are. So 2 pitchers so far. I've only dealt an inning and a third. I no longer have space in my scorebook to write down who the new pitcher is, so I'll have to come up with something creative. But LaFlamme went an inning and a third, faced 1 batter, and his day is over. New pitcher is J.D. Rusamano, and we'll give you his stuff and the rest probably of this ninth inning unless something weird happens. On the other side of the break, 2 outs, 2-run ball game. Oaks Baseball on the Oaks Baseball Broadcasting Network. J.D. Rusamano from Corbin University in Salem, Oregon, is tasked as the 3rd pitcher of the inning. To get the 3rd and final out, though, it hasn't been a typical inning for pitching changes. Started out with Luke LaFlamme. He retired Chase Cockrell. He was pulled. Jackson Bond then retired Elijah Alexander, and then he was pulled. Now it's J.D. Rusamano's turn. Sam Shakin stepping in. He's 0 for 3, but he was hit by a pitch in the 2nd and stranded on 2nd thereafter. 2 away, 2-run ball game, top of the 9th. Quiet evening here from Pasadena, California. Fans have stuck around, though, the handful that have been here all day. Temperatures now in the high 60s. The first pitch to Shakin. Low for ball 1. It's been a really long ball game for all intents and purposes. 3 hours and 20 minutes in.
That is long. And Sean Bueller, the head coach for the Saints, has not made it shorter. It's the first guy in the CCL this year I've seen play matchups as severely as him.
1-0 pitch. Sky to the left field. Nay, though, under it for out number 3. The Oaks face 3 pitchers, but go 1-2-3 against those pitchers. No runs, no hits, no errors. Nobody left on base. It's a 2-run ball game, and the very explosive 3, 4, and 5 batters who have had a very good day from the batter's box on the Saints side are 2 up. But first a break. 7-5 the score. You're watching Oaks versus Saints. We'll be right back.
Number 30, Mitch Kerner.
Angus Denton, or as Jordan deems him, Angus Angry Denton, because he makes opposing batters so angry, steps back in, and he'll look to cap off the bottom of the ninth inning, stifling the Saints' offense and getting his 5th of the season. The Oaks have a new left fielder. It's Andrew Lucas from CSUN, the youngest prospect in the prospect game tomorrow, in place of Chase Cockle for a straight-up switch. I don't expect Andrew Lucas will have to at bat if Denton does what Denton does, which is get opposing batters out and finish up ball games. But first out to face Mitch Kerner is the first pitch. Misses for ball one, though I suppose that because Cam and Co. missed the catch, that may have thrown the umpire's point of view off a little bit. Nonetheless, Kerner is 0 for 0 on the day. He pinch hit in place of Nick Lacayo. Walked and then was stranded on third back in the 7th inning when the Saints left the bases loaded, left the bases stranded, all loaded up. But an inside fastball puts 1-1 up on the board. No better for Angus Denton to be than on the mound right here, doing what he's done incredibly well all season long. The 1-1, a strike on the outside corner. How about Camico placing that one just in case? And I think he saved perhaps a ball for Denton.
Yeah, it was a nice slider from Angus Denton right there. Started on the inner half, ended up right over the heart of the plate.
Pitch. This is low for ball 2. 7 runs, 8 hits, 5 errors for the Oaks. 5 runs, 8 hits, 5 errors for the Saints. The Oaks and the Saints will play it one last time on Thursday back at Sparky Anderson Field. The 2-2. Late swing. Nails that ball out of play, and the count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Great fight right now. Angus trying to get that one pitch past the swinging bat. We all know he has that strikeout. Some strikeout pitches. Let's see where it goes right now.
Toes the rubber and comes set from the belt. The sidearmer hurls the 2-2. It's popped up, though Elijah Alexander will probably gobble it up. Indeed, he will. And out number 1 here in the bottom of the 9th is tallied.
Batting from USC, number 25, John Thomas.
Angus Denton mirrors how he ended the 8th with how he begins the 9th, a fly out to center. But now John Thomas stepping in, and with one swing of the bat, even though it would only create a 1-run ball game, things could change, and this is the man to do it on the day so far. He's actually had an uncharacteristic offer, but he's reached base 3 times. He reached on an error in the 2nd, he walked in the 3rd, and was hit by a pitch in the 7th. He did fly out in the 5th. He's 0 for 1. Umpire signaling to the crew out here behind home plate that they needed to cut the music to allow that bat to begin as the first pitch misses inside for ball 1.
What makes Angus so great is when he misses low in the zone. It's hard to elevate that and hit the ball hard when you're missing low in the zone consistently.
The side armor drops one low for ball 2. Angus, one of 2 quote-unquote Omahags on this team. Jordan McFarland, the other one. The 2-0, a strike on the outside corner to put a strike up on the board. These two very close friends. Very funny banter between them off the field on the bus. Great dynamic, and it's fun to hear them interact with their SEC foes. The 2-1 pitch is slapped back to even the count when Michael Spears and Chase Cockle jaw off with Jordan McFarland and Angus Denton.
And you know it's interesting. Angus Denton and Jordan McFarland are the only 2 Oaks players I've seen read on the bus this year.
That's true. They were all actually making fun of Jordan for reading. I love reading. I think Jordan's great at doing that. Ouch. A 2-2. The ball bounced back up. I think it hit the batting helmet after the foul tip off of John Thomas. He's okay. As we'll see a conversation here with Coach Sean Bueller and Thomas. No, Thomas says, don't worry, it was just it looked a lot worse, I guess, than it actually was, and he shakes it off. He'll be okay to go here with the 2-2 count in a moment. It's always scary, and that's one of the worst, to foul off a baseball straight down and for it to come right back at you. Not a great place to be as a batter. We're happy that he's shooken it off and that he's A-okay. You never want to see a batter hurt. You don't want to see an athlete hurt. These guys work so hard They have so much talent. I'm glad John is okay as he steps back in. Denton offers the 2-2. Thomas fights it off to keep the count at that. One away in a 2-run ball game. It was back and forth through the first 4 innings until the Oaks exploded for 4 runs to break it open. The Saints have slowly but surely been chipping away, though time is beginning to run out. The 2-2. Cut over to third. It's in fair territory and into left field. That's good for extra bases. Lucas tracking it down. Thomas digging for second, and he will stand in there on a 2-2 count. He toes the left field line and hits an extra base hit with 1 away. The tying run now coming to the plate in Brennan McKenzie.
How about that for John Thomas? Was hitless going into that at-bat. Such a talented guy, did not get down on himself. A wonderful inside-out swing to knock one past the diving glove of Lewis into left field. And all of a sudden, the tying runner is at the plate.
Angus Denton is 4 for 4 in save situations. The first pitch, a strike on the inside corner to Brendan McKenzie. He does not want to blow one here. McKenzie on the day, 1 for 4. A ground out, 2 pop outs, and a single. Denton offers. Swing and a miss on the off-speeder. 0-2. That was a beautiful pitch.
And Denton's not about to give up his perfect 4 for 4 save chances right here without going down with a fight.
You said Angus is angry Angus because he makes opposing batters angry. Well, I think he's angry right now when looking to put away this game.
Yeah, but it's that type of anger that you can channel and use in the right way. It's not that out-of-control anger. I love the intensity.
The 0-2. Just misses low and away, and McKenzie thought about it, very wisely held back. It's interesting. There's something in the air right now. You can feel the intensity, though. It's very quiet, and it's been a quiet ball game for the drama that we've had. But you can feel the intensity in the air here. Runner on second, the 1-2 count. Denton deals. Half-hearted swing. Did he go around? Appeal? No, he didn't. The Oaks fans on the right side said he did. The Saints fans on our left side said he didn't. And the umpire agreed with the Saints. I think that was the right call, and we have an even count.
Whew, but that was close.
The 2-2. Cracked bat over to Shaken on the second hop. He fires it over to first for out number 2. Denton had to step out of the way of that one.
San Diego State,
and now the Saints are down to their final out. John Thomas at third. And the San Diego State Aztec, Angelo Armenta, who already has a home run today and an RBI single, digs in. He's 2 for 2 with 2 walks. And Dave Solis, the head coach for the Oaks, as well as the 19-year head coach for Rio Mesa High School, and prior to that, a 3-year assistant coach with Cal State LA. We'll talk to Angus Denton.
Steven Spielberg couldn't write a better script than this, Jonathan. This is unbelievable. Armenta having his best game of the season. And then you got Angus Denton on the mound. This is going to be an intense matchup. And that's why Coach Solis wants to separate Denton from the big moment for just a second. Tell him, I trust you. This is your moment. Go out and get it, big guy.
The reason the Saints are in this game is large in part because of Armenta. His 3 RBIs have accounted for 5 of the runs. He has a run score, so for all intents and purposes, he's contributed to 4 of the 5 runs on the day here for the Saints. And he is hungry for 1 more. He hit his first home run back in the second inning. And if he can go yard here, we could have a tie ball game. Here we go. Meeting has adjourned on the mound. The first pitch, a strike over the heart of the plate.
Oh, that was such a good pitch from Denton. The first pitch out of the timeout, and he was ready to go.
Denton calmly comes set from the belt. Thomas takes a lead off of third, though 1. A strike on the outside corner, and Denton is 1 strike away from putting this game away.
And John, I wasn't here for the Oaks last year, but from what I understand, the difference with Denton is that changeup that he featured right there. That is unhittable when you have a fastball slider as good as him.
The 0-2 just missing outside. It looked very similar to the last pitch, but nonetheless, Armenta shows the eagle eye there and tallies the ball right now. It's 1-2. Denton not wasting any time. Armenta in the left-handed batter's box. Here we go. Denton offers the 1-2. It's a swing and a miss, and this ball game is over. The Oaks cap it on a strikeout by Denton, his second of the ball game, and Thomas is stranded on third base. 7-5 in an exciting fashion. They move into the fourth place spot in the CCL. They hold the tiebreaker with the Slow Blues. Jordan, what an exciting game. We saw home runs all over the place. We saw errors all over the place. We saw great pitching and bad pitching. If you want a game that had everything, this game had everything.
Yeah, I feel fortunate to just have been able to sit here and watch this ball game at such a fantastic venue. Angus Denton was a star today. Brandon Lewis was fantastic. We saw Bart West play fantastic defense and hit his first home run of the season. What a ball game. And for the Oaks, you gain this momentum at the perfect time because the rest of the week is going to decide whether the Oaks go to the playoffs or they're sitting on their couch watching it.
Total time was 3 hours and 32 minutes. Winning pitcher goes to Aiden Dolan. Losing pitcher goes to Reed Osborne. And Angus Denton tallies his fifth save of the season. Some big stats. Brandon Lewis was a single shy of the cycle. He ended up going 3 for 5. Home run, triple, and a double with 4 RBIs. Jordan McFarland had 2 singles. He went 2 for 5. Chase Cocker had a rare 0 for day. He was 0 for 5. Will Pickett's went 0 for 2, but he reached base twice by way of some resilient batting. He walked in. Also was hit by a pitch on the other side. The Saints, Angelo Armenta had a home run and an RBI single. He was 2 for 3, but he struck out to end the game. At the top of the order, Jack Smith went 2 for 3, and Tristan Peterson went 1 for 2. Well, I'm going to be on the field with Bart West here in just a moment. Head over to Twitter for our Oaks postgame show. Bart and I will have a conversation. Bart also had a home run and a very good day. He was stellar in the field as well. And we are going to talk to Mr. West here in about 2 minutes over by the first base bag. But we're going to have to sign off. We have an all-star break tomorrow. Enjoy the day off because things really pick up on Thursday. But for everybody who made our broadcast possible, we want to thank our Arroyo Seco St. colleagues for setting us up here, the wonderful fans, and our producer, Sean McKinnon. For Jordan Brenner, my broadcasting partner, my name is Jonathan Rifkin, signing off. No game tomorrow for the Oaks. We'll be at the All-Star game. But on Thursday, the Oaks will host the Saints once again at 5 o'clock from George Sparky Anderson Field. We can't wait to see you there. But until then, enjoy the rest of your Tuesday evening and the Wednesday day off. Once again, the Oaks win 7-5.